I'm Doug Brown. Tiger Woods is 1 under par after 3 holes in the opening round of the Genesis Invitational. Live coverage right now on ESPN+. Now that quarterback Derek Carr is a free agent, where should he sign? ESPN's Booger McFarland.
I think maybe the best spot for him might be Carolina. It's a very, very winnable division. Every team in the division is going to be replacing quarterbacks. I think the city of Charlotte fits his personality a little bit more.
Booger McFarland on Fitz and Harry. Michigan State teams will play this weekend, just days after an on-campus shooting that killed 3 students and wounded 5 others. The women's basketball team will host Maryland in East Lansing, and the men's team plays at Michigan, both games on Saturday. Carlos Beltran rejoins the Mets, this time as a special assistant to GM Billy Epler. Beltran was hired as the Mets manager in November of 2019, but never managed a game after he was identified as part of the Astros sign-stealing scandal on their way to the 2017 World Series title.
If you want to find quality new hires in the new year, post on Indeed. When you sponsor a post, you'll get matched instantly with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed meet your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
The morning Matthew Musso. And Mr. Toby Tomlin. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. And by the morning Matthew Musso, I mean Mourning, not Morning. Musso, devastated. LSU baseball has moved first pitch of the season opener from 6:30 tomorrow night to 3 o'clock. So there has been a schedule change. It's going to be cold, and so they're going to play earlier in the day. Muse, you hanging in there?
I've calmed down some.
No, you haven't?
Yes, I have.
Heard you screaming like a lunatic when we walked in here.
That's not at all what happened.
That is what happened.
That is not true.
You screaming like a lunatic.
I was not screaming like a lunatic.
I had to call HR.
You did not have to call HR.
Danielle's outside right now
She
waiting
is
on
not.
you. As soon as we get into a break,
no,
you're getting written up.
That is none of that is happening.
Paulie, is that happening?
I do believe so.
Yep.
Thanks a lot,
See?
Paul.
It's happening. But they're still going to play baseball tomorrow, Muse, and you got 56 of them.
They play at 2 o'clock on Tuesday as well against Southern.
Why are they doing that?
It's a great question. I don't know. Maybe it's going to be 4 degrees too cold. I have no idea, Matt. Could be. I don't know.
Ooh, did you
I don't know.
see? Could you
Could be.
feel how testy he was with that? So, tomorrow, by the way, disappointing as well, because tomorrow was our Take Me Out to Tallulah event, and that has now been rescheduled. So you've heard us. We've basically spent 3 weeks promoting this event and putting it together. It was going to be a lot of fun, but there was going to be no game to watch. So there's no sense in having a game watch. But we're going to move that to March the 10th. So we'll tell you more about that. But no event at Tallulah tomorrow night. Yeah, so LSU did make the decision. It's the low tomorrow is going to get into the 30s, but even still, if you look at the hourly forecast, first pitch temperature is low 50s around 3 o'clock. It'll be sunny and beautiful, and then by the time you get to 6:30, you're talking high 40s. So not really a great difference, but the feels like temperature, the wind chill will probably be significantly different. You know what it's like whenever the wind's coming into that stadium off the river. So very likely a decision made for your very highly touted starting pitcher who's going to take the ball tomorrow night, who would probably rather pitch in mild, sunny conditions as opposed to cold, windy conditions. So if that's what you could do and it's agreeable to both schools, you do, and you got 56 of these things to go. Is it a bummer? Absolutely. An anticipated season. It's opening night at the box, or opening day now at the box. And, if people can, get out there and take a half day of work, check the kids out of school, and go enjoy opening day out at the box. If you can't, you'll have plenty of them to get to. But 3 o'clock now on Friday, 1:30 Saturday afternoon, and 12:30 on Sunday out at Alec Box Stadium. So we told you yesterday that the expectation was you'd hear Paul Skeens, Riley Cooper, and Chase Shores as the starting rotation this weekend. Jay Johnson today confirming the rotation.
We're going to start Paul Skeens tomorrow, Riley Cooper on Saturday, and Chase Shores on Sunday.
I am the smartest man alive. It was obviously going to go that way. Talked to a few people, and that was the decision they were going to make. The really interesting comment that Jay made today, though, was about Thatcher Hurd, because the expectation, I think, for many was that Thatcher Hurd, the UCLA transfer, who, if you were here yesterday, we talked about the Baseball America put it their 2024 top 100 prospects list. So not this coming draft, but the following. And Thatcher Hurd is number 2. Thatcher Hurd is the number 2 prospect in next year's draft. So the fact that he's not in this rotation is a little startling to some. But here was Jay Johnson kind of talking about he was asked the question about Hurd getting into the rotation, but listen to the direction he took it.
For sure. I mean, as a matter of fact, I'd go as far as saying for us to be the best team that we need to be, then, he needs to figure into that starting mix, and that probably will help. And he's there. And, frankly, development, the things that you guys don't see on a daily basis. Like, we needed to do something with him this week that didn't allow him to pitch on, let's say, Saturday, because he needs to get better. And he knows that. And that is a bigger, longer-term thought, And if the question is, do I think he's going to start games and significant games this year, the answer is yes.
So they did stuff with him in the midweek, during the week, to develop him that didn't allow him to pitch on Saturday. So you mean you gave him some extensive work during the middle of the week? So like it would set up that if you have, an opponent you're going to play in Austin a week from Tuesday, that maybe he could be in shape to start that one? So, listen, it's pretty obvious how he's shaping this up, okay? LSU will play their opening weekend. They'll host Southern next Tuesday. Then they go to Round Rock, which should be pretty cool. And that weekend they're going to play Kansas State, Iowa, and Sam Houston State in the Round Rock Classic up at Dell Diamond. And then they'll just stay in the Austin area, and they'll play Texas on that Tuesday night, February the 28th. And so it's a great opportunity for Thatcher Hurd to take the ball in that spot against Texas and to see how he fares, road environment, all that sort of stuff. And then you'll come home. You'll have one more weekend before you start conference play. Actually, you'll have 2 more weekends, because you'll have the weekend after you play at Texas. You'll play Central Connecticut State and Butler, and then you'll play Samford before you open up conference play at Texas A&M. So I fully expect that by the time you get to Texas A&M, that Thatcher Hurd's going to be in the rotation. But he'll start Riley Cooper on Saturday. Jay will, and Hurd will start being your Tuesday guy, but will very likely get into that rotation before LSU gets to conference play. One other thing, by the way, Jay did explain. Could you play number 10, please? This was Jay explaining why they decided to move the game up.
My job is simple: what's best for our program, and that's where I have to make decisions. What's best for our program? What's best for the players in our program? And have really good resources here. I trust Bill Frankus as much as I trust anybody at LSU, and have seen a lot of LSU baseball games. And so, talk with him, talk with Scott Woodward, talk with Dan Gaston. Really good administration, and ultimately, we decided this was best. If it disrupts anybody's travel plans of getting here or game time, I really apologize about that. But But, my job's to do what's best for the players and best for the program, to the point where I even thought about maybe we'll just make opening day from this point forward. And we'll, send out permission slips for everybody to miss work and to live in Baton Rouge and do that.
Muse, how would you feel about that if opening day becomes opening day?
There's a difference in it being set when the schedule comes out and people have time to prepare than the move being made on Thursday morning before the first game. There's a difference.
Kids will still be in school.
Kids will still be in school.
You're still going to have smaller crowds.
You will have a smaller crowd, but I think you would have a bigger crowd than you will tomorrow making the move 24 hours from first pitch. So
it's not ideal, but I also understand his point, which is
for sure
you're doing what's best for the team, for the program, and if you feel like that's playing this during the game, and let's just be honest with it, it's like you're trying to get Paul Skeens to pitch on a sunny, mild afternoon instead of a cold, windy night. I get it. That's what they're doing. So if that's what you want to do, cool, do that.
I mean,
56.
I understand the decision. It's just
you're inconvenienced.
No, it's bigger than that, Matt. It's bigger
There's
than
nothing
that.
else that matters, man.
Yes, it does.
It doesn't matter at all.
It does.
It's 1 out of 56.
I understand that, but it's opening
fine.
day, and opening day is different than the other 56. It's first one.
Do I need to yell about you getting out of your feelings again?
No,
you
don't
the
have
CBS
to.
Sports theme.
No, you don't have to. I'm just saying there was so much anticipation for this opening day, more than there has been in years, and it sucks that it's not anymore. And
it's Western Michigan.
That's fine. It doesn't. The opponent doesn't matter.
It does matter.
It does not.
It would be a drastically more exciting if that were Texas coming in. You're going to tell me that it wouldn't be dramatically more exciting if LSU was playing Texas this weekend instead of Western Michigan?
Of course it would be,
but
opening day carries its own excitement because it's to baseball fans.
To a small number of baseball fans, sure. But ultimately, they're going to play a lot of games. And this is just one of many, and it's a game against Western Michigan, and it's fine. So they'll play it at 3 o'clock, and maybe in the future they will move it to a day game. I wouldn't like to see that. I'd prefer it to be Friday night.
No, I mean, I wouldn't either, but I think you can get away with it more if it's planned out.
Selfishly, I mean, I'll be starting my show tomorrow at first pitch. That sucks. That sucks. Like, I'm going to be going up against the game. That sucks, but it's what it is. So they'll go play it, and at 3 o'clock tomorrow, we'll get to see Paul Skeens. I'm sure I'll have like a tablet right here with the game streaming, so I can at least keep an eye on it as we move throughout the.
You won't, I will.
So, all right, it's after further review. So 3 o'clock tomorrow for LSU and Western Michigan in the opener. It's okay, Muse. I'll give you a big hug later after you see Danielle. Then I'll give you a hug. All right, it's after further review. We're brought to you by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. We'll knock out a quick break, come back, and we actually have betting odds from DraftKings on Derek Carr's next landing spot. I'll share these with you when we return. It's AFR.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. It's Gordon McKernan, Injury Attorneys. You know what to do. Gordon McKernan has been helping injured people in our state and representing injured people in our state for more than 30 years. So if you've been injured in an accident and it's not your fault, get Gordon and get it done. You can always call 888-8888, 888-8888, or go to getgordon.com. That's getgordon.com. If you haven't seen it yet, the Get Gordon Dance Challenge winners have all been announced, so that's pretty cool. You can see it on all their social medias. All of their winnings have been dispersed, so they got really cool pictures with the big old checks, right? So Yasmin Whitehurst was the grand prize winner, so congrats to her and all the Get Gordon Dance Challenge winners. Gordon loves to have fun with the way that he markets, and it's really cool to see it all come about through all the NIL opportunities as well. But most importantly, if you need an attorney, hire the best. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Get Gordon and get it done.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $10,000 off new 2022 Ram 1500s. 2022 Ram 1500 trucks on our lot now with $10,000 off MSRP. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Women who suffer from cardiac arrest outside of a hospital are less likely than men to receive life-saving CPR from bystanders. This is especially true for Black and Latino women. Be the one in your family to help change this statistic by taking the American Heart Association's challenge to learn CPR. Be the beat for someone you love. You can make a difference when it matters most. Go to heart.org today to take the CPR challenge and save lives.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, we do have a little bit of breaking news in the NFL. This probably won't come as a gigantic surprise to anyone, but it is sort of the next step in the legal process. So David Sharns, who is an investigative reporter for 8 News Now in Las Vegas, a Clark County grand jury has indicted Saints running back Alvin Kamara and 3 others for an alleged beating at a Las Vegas nightclub last year. So again, this is not in any way unexpected. I think I've shared this with you in the past, but in a former life when I did news, there was an old saying that people who were on the crime beat would say a grand jury would indict a ham sandwich. It is essentially a certainty when there is any preponderance of the evidence that that someone will be indicted. So an indictment is just that they would formally bring charges, that there is a chance that a crime was committed. So this is sort of that next step there. So grand jury has indicted Alvin Kamara for the NFL's purposes. Remember, the league doesn't need an indictment. They don't need a conviction to be able to bring any type of penalty or punitive action against players for violation of the personal conduct policy. Essentially, like just being involved in this, Alvin Kamara being on video as part of a group beating up a man, whomever was at fault, could, in the NFL's eyes, be a violation of the personal conduct policy, which is why many of us have all assumed that Kamara is going to be suspended by the NFL at some point. And now you have this formal bringing of charges against Alvin Kamara. It makes that somewhat of a certainty. It's odd because we talked so much. It's hard to, when you get past the season and you had 17 games, over the course of from July, when the team reports all the way through the season in early January, you forget what a lot of the conversation the previous offseason was like. But so much of our conversation last offseason was an assumption that Alvin Kamara was going to miss at least 6 games this year as a result of this, everything that happened in Las Vegas. And we learned that got put off until next season. And ultimately it was. But you kind of look back now with the benefit of hindsight and think, kind of wish he had been suspended this past year to get it out of the way. I don't know what this will bring for the Saints coming up in 2023 if Kamara misses time. But the same reason a year ago we talked about the Saints needing to address running back, it's present again. Mark Ingram hurt his knee. He's a free agent. I think it's safe to say Ingram's time in New Orleans is done. His career may be done. I don't know that you're really thinking that David Johnson or Eno Benjamin are options in this offense. So the Saints have to do what they didn't do a year ago, and that's bring in a young running back. And a big part of the reason they were unable to do that a year ago in the draft was they traded so much draft capital to move up a couple of times in the draft. So they lost the opportunity really to take a running back at the spot in the draft that they coveted. Maybe that's something they do this year. It's something they'll certainly need to do. As we mentioned, Alvin Kamara, for as off a season as the Saints had, right? And they were 22nd in the NFL in scoring this year. It's just so atypical to see the Saints offense struggle the way that they did this year. But even in spite of those struggles, and I know some of what we bring up is, when we talk about Kamara, is the fumble that led to the scoop and score against Carolina. And there were some negative plays, no doubt. But Kamara was still your leading rusher by a wide margin. By the way, the second leading rusher on the team was Taysom Hill. Kamara ran for 897 yards, 223 attempts. No other player on the team had over 100 attempts. Hill had 96. Kamara had 223. He was by a mile your workload, your workhorse running the football. And then after that, he was your third leading pass catcher. You had Chris Olave, Juwan Johnson, your tight end, and then Kamara was 3. So you got, when you were expecting, we were all expecting to get so much out of the receiving corps with Michael Thomas coming back, bringing in Jarvis Landry, drafting Chris Olave. You got essentially nothing out of Thomas and Landry. Olave had a 1,000-yard season as a rookie, so he clearly lived up to the billing. But after that, it was the emergence of Juwan Johnson and then Alvin Kamara, who had 57 catches for 490 yards. So, as bad a year as it was offensively, imagine what it would have been without Alvin Kamara. So, yes, you want Kamara back. You want him healthy. You want him available for as much as you can. With the indictment today, it further, I think, solidifies the notion that he's going to miss time whenever the NFL does hand down a punishment. And then what do the Saints do? They have scant options right now at running back, and they got to go find some this offseason. When you don't have money to spend, you're not tapping into free agency, which means you're going to have to find somebody in the draft that can be productive. Listen, we just watched the Super Bowl where Isaac Pacheco for the Chiefs, who was a 7th-round pick, emerged. You got to trust your evaluation. You got to go get one. Maybe they thought a year ago they'd found that guy in Abram Smith out of Baylor who didn't make the team, and but you still got to keep chipping away. You got to find that guy. I'm not saying you got to find Kamara, but you got to find someone that can hold the rope while Kamara's out for whatever length of time he will be. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad to have you aboard with us here on a Thursday edition of AFR. I love telling you about Shawbills Tire and Auto Service. ShawbillsTire.com, home of the Charlie's Dozen. Always love telling you about the Charlie's Dozen because that is a dozen benefits extended to every member of the family, no matter if you bought those tires at Shawbills. You buy tires at Shawbills, they'll extend the Charlie's Dozen to every member of the family. A dozen benefits of buying your tires at Shawbills. And remember, I was talking to Martin earlier this week. I've been sharing this with you. He's extended a new offer for the rest of this month, for the rest of February. It's good for BF Goodrich, Michelin, and Toyo tires. All 3 of those brands. You get $60 off instantly when you buy a set of 4 tires with free install when you use your new or existing Shawbills credit card. So go to Shawbills, make sure you use that Shawbills credit card. Either apply for it and get it, or if you already have it, use your existing credit card. The card benefits are great. 6 months, no interest. You get a double warranty on all service work, plus all the free installs and everything else when applicable. It's at Shawbills. ShawbillsTire.com. Shawbills, where we keep you rolling. Real quick, there's a lot of Saints stuff that we do have to get to today. But DraftKings has put out odds on Derek Carr and his next team. want to run through this real quick because I think it's interesting to see if I can find this for those of you who are watching. No, I can't find it. Find a graphic. But DraftKings has released the odds for Derek Carr's next snap. And not surprising, the New Orleans Saints are the leader at plus 300, followed by the Jets at plus 330. And then this is where it gets really interesting. The next two are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Carolina Panthers. So, of the top 4 teams that have odds of signing Derek Carr, the Saints are number 1, but 3 of those top 4 are in the NFC South. Essentially, everybody in this division is turning over their starting quarterback. Like, unless if Desmond Ridder, I mean, look, I guess we could say from who started the season, right? Jameis Winston started last season. Baker Mayfield in Carolina, Marcus Mariota in Atlanta, and of course Tom Brady. So everybody's going to be turning over their starting quarterback from who started this past season. But Carr to either Tampa or Carolina would be pretty fascinating. Now, Tampa is in just as bad a cap situation as the Saints are. So if they go the Carr route, they would essentially be pigeonholing themselves the same way the Saints would if they end up investing a big number in a Derek Carr. The Panthers are interesting because they have a top 10 pick. They have the 9th overall pick, and the assumption is that they're going to take a quarterback at 9, whoever may be on the board. A lot of people seem to think it's Anthony Richardson. Maybe it'll be Will Levis. Who knows? But if the Panthers draft a quarterback, their decision is, do you go with the quarterback you drafted, or do you bring in a veteran that can be sort of that bridge guy? It's the same conversation that you're having in New Orleans. It's just they have a better draft pick than the Saints do, drafting at 29. So after the Panthers, it's Titans, Commanders, Colts, Patriots, Packers, Texans, and then a bunch of teams that aren't realistic. It's going to be one of those top 5 teams, you would presume. I might even extend it, to Tennessee. What happens there with Tannehill? Maybe Carr wants to stay in the AFC. Maybe that circumstance works out. I don't know. But Saints, Jets, Bucks, Panthers, it feels like Derek Carr, if Aaron Rodgers ends up with the Jets, or if Aaron Rodgers doesn't end up with the Jets, Carr could be their number 1 choice. If Rodgers ends up with the Jets, then Carr is likely picking among 3 NFC South teams, the Saints, Bucks, and Panthers. So would you rather have him or play against him? My answer has been, will continue to be, it depends what it costs. Because I cannot justify paying the market value for Derek Carr of $37 million. If that's what Spotrac right now has listed as the market value for Derek Carr. If that's it, I can't get down with that. And we've gone over these numbers before, but if you look at the quarterback salary rankings right now for their for the quarterbacks in the NFL, for their contracts, I mean, you're looking at guys like Deshaun Watson, Dak Prescott, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Ryan Tannehill. It's so hard to justify paying Derek Carr north of $30 million a year. After the first 10 or so, you have a dramatic drop-off, and then you get into here's the list. So this is the average salary as it is right now for the NFL for quarterbacks in 2023. You got Rodgers at $50 million in Green Bay, Russell Wilson at $48 million in Denver, Kyler Murray at 46, Deshaun Watson at 46, Mahomes at 45, Josh Allen at 43, Stafford at 40, Dak at 40, Kirk Cousins at 35, Goff is 10th at 33, Carson Wentz in Washington is there at $32 million, Matt Ryan 12th at $30 million, Ryan Tannehill at $29.5, gigantic drop-off from Tannehill at $29.5 to Brady, who's now retired, who's at $15 million, and then Jameis at $14 million. So essentially, where do you look? So that's where you're getting the market value number of $37 million. If you think Derek Carr is top 10, 12 quarterback in the NFL, that puts him somewhere in the Goff, Wentz, Matt Ryan convo, and that puts you right there, $30 to $33 million per. I just can't stomach it. I would rather the New Orleans Saints bring Jameis Winston back at $14 million for a year than spend $35 million on Derek Carr. But If the Bucs or Panthers want to pay him that, God bless. Go do it. It's my feeling on Derek Carr is the same. He's a better option the Saints have, but he's not a championship option. He's not. I don't think Derek Carr is to the Saints or any organization what Matthew Stafford was to the Rams, being the missing piece. The only place where you might even be able to make that argument would be San Francisco because their roster is so deep and talented. You could almost plug anyone there and they'd be a contender. But I don't think that's Derek Carr. So at the right price, I'd take him, but not at the price that's being bandied about right now. All right, y'all. It's After Further Review, Thursday edition. Again, if you're just joining us, keep reminding you if you haven't heard the news today, LSU baseball, the season opener tomorrow has been moved up to 3 o'clock because of the threat of cold weather in the area tomorrow. So 3 o'clock, first pitch tomorrow for the season opener, LSU and Western Michigan. That means our Take Me Out to Tallulah event is going to be rescheduled. It'll be March the 10th now. So a few weeks into the season, we'll circle back and do Take Me Out to Tallulah. We'll look forward to that, and hopefully you can join us then when we do circle back to it. All right, it is After Further Review. We're glad to have you aboard with us. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll go around the SEC. Bo Lowery, Director of Sports Medicine with LSU, is going to join us in about 30 minutes from right now. Talk about LSU, a little primer for spring, but also on Bo's take on Zion's hamstring injury. Bo was with the Saints for years now, is Director of Sports Medicine with LSU. How do you overcome that soft tissue injury? What can be done? We'll talk about that with Bo in about 30 minutes from right now. And by the way, LSU pitching coach Wes Johnson with us in hour number 3. Glad you're here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001. Always love sharing great testimonials like this one from Hans Marchesi, who said, Darren was very personable and thorough. He even came while he was off the clock to install the UV light at a more convenient time for me. That's another 5-star Google review from River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001, 752-0001, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. And I got to start reminding you, as odd as it may seem, because we're heading into a few cold weather days, it's time to start thinking about the preseason AC tune-up, because next week we're going to start getting back towards the 70s and 80s again. Remember, you can get $50 off a preseason AC tune-up for the rest of this month. Just for the rest of February, it's worth calling to save today. 752-0001, 752-0001 for River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
I've been doing business with Lewry for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure glad you're here.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
Saturday, February 25th, 7 p.m. The Bulls Bands and Barrels Tour at the Lamar Dixon Expo Center. Presented by Jerry Lane Chevrolet. Edge of your seat excitement with bull riding, barrel racing, ultimate bullfighting, with a live performance by Bailey Zimmerman. With with Timothy Wayne, plus two-time PBR world champion Chris Shivers, and Brinson James, the entertainer. Tickets and information at bullsbandsandbarrels.com. Saturday, February 25th, Lamar Dixon Expo Center at 7 p.m. Presented by Jerry Lane Chevrolet, the #1 Chevrolet dealer in Louisiana.
Women who suffer from cardiac arrest outside of a hospital are less likely than men to receive life-saving CPR from bystanders. This is especially true for Black and Latino women. Be the one in your family to help change this statistic by taking the American Heart Association's challenge to learn CPR. Be the beat for someone you love. You can make a difference when it matters most. Go to heart.org today to take the CPR challenge and save lives.
Moon Griffon is back. The voice of Louisiana politics makes.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, Muse, don't get mad, all right? But the people on the text line are having some fun with you. He just looked at me just shrugged his shoulder like he couldn't care less. Greg Lehman said, what is the melt level of Musso right now due to the game change for Friday? How you doing over there? You look so sad. Yeah, hand the mic. You look so sad.
I'm
You look
calmer.
sad.
I'm calmer than I was earlier.
Okay.
Still think it's dumb. I
Hunter
get
Fournette
it.
said, tell Musso to quit crying. Good Lord.
Who said that?
Hunter Fournette.
Noted.
I mean, Moose, I think you and the K lady are the only people that's heard about this.
I don't think so.
I think
I don't think that's
that
accurate.
have this heard about it.
No, I don't think so.
Maybe the 6 people that freeze with you when it's 10 degrees outside and you won't leave until the final out's recorded.
That could be, but I think there's probably a few more than that.
I think most people are just going to go about their day. Yeah, maybe keep it on the radio, Eagle 98.1, tune in. You know, if you want to watch it, you can pull up the Watch app and watch it at work, something like that, whatever helps. We'll keep you up to date with the scores here. You know, they got 56 of them.
That's fine.
You know,
I'm
Muse,
aware.
I know what you should do, Muse. I know what you should do. You should get the CBS college football theme, put it on your AirPods, and just listen to it the whole game, and you could just shed a tear out there.
It doesn't even make any sense.
But there are things,
different sport.
Just things about which you are emotional. Just kind of
it's
just
a great
tug at the
theme
heart.
song.
No, it sometimes. Oh, it is. But sometimes, you know, like people just need to sit in a dark room by themselves, put on some REM, Everybody Hurts, and just cry. Maybe that's what you need, Muse. Maybe you just need a good cry. Crying is not a sign of weakness. It's an emotion. It's an emotional release. We need that in our lives sometimes.
Okay. I mean, I'm not going to cry about it, but.
I mean, you kind of sound like you're on the verge.
No.
Okay.
No.
All right. Well, if you need to, you can. All right?
Okay.
This is a safe space for you, Muse.
Noted. It's not.
Yes, it is.
That is a
Paul,
damn
Paul,
lie.
Paul, is this a safe space for him, Paul?
100%.
Thank you,
Paul. You
See,
know that is not
see
true.
what I mean? That's all it is. That's all it is, Muse. Texas Athletic Director Chris Del Conte was on the Feinbaum Show, and forgive me, this has been a few days, but I just stumbled upon this today. We were talking earlier in the week about the projected. This might have been actually at the end of last week when we were talking about this, because Texas and Oklahoma are coming into the SEC now in 2024, and so we were talking about what the permanent opponents would look like. This was at the end of last week. Well, Chris Del Conte, who is the AD of the University of Texas, was on the Feinbaum Show, and he had this to say about Texas and Texas A&M having gone this long without playing in football.
For us not to play A&M for these years, it's just sad. It's ludicrous. I feel bad for the state of Texas. I feel bad for our fan bases. But the same thing when Arkansas, not playing Arkansas. You know, Coach Royal and They retired on the exact same day, Coach Burrell and Coach Broyles. They had this storied history in the 60s, playing for national championships, the greatest game in the century. You start to think of all those things. So us to go back and rekindle this game on an annual basis, I just think is great for college. It's great for our community. So rivalries, in my opinion, really matter in sport. And to be able to keep the Oklahoma game in Dallas, as a rival, and go back and rekindle those old relationships, it's just exciting time.
So Chris Del Conte essentially just said that he wants Texas A&M, Arkansas, and Oklahoma as their three permanent opponents. He's lobbying for it. But the reason he has to, and I know this is wild to some of you, but whenever you have the athletic director of Texas stumping for that publicly, it illustrates the point that I've made a couple times, which is there's not a guarantee that Texas and Texas A&M are going to play every year. I know that's mind-boggling to some. It is. Because the assumption for many has been Texas and A&M will be permanent opponents and they'll play each other every year to rekindle that game. And I'm here to tell you, Texas A&M, there's a strong sentiment on the Texas A&M side that they don't want that every year. So like they escaped Texas's shadow when they left the Big 12 and now view themselves as equal instead of little brother, and they don't want to revert to that. So Texas wants the game coming in, but Texas A&M may not. I don't know how it's going to go, y'all. I don't. I have no inside info. All I know, I don't know if you saw this, but T-Bob pointed this out when we were doing Scone and T last night. Apparently, Andy Staples wrote a column stumping for the Texas A&M game. Why do you think you're seeing a lot of this? Because I know there's a possibility it may not happen. So I don't know what the schedules are going to look like definitively, and we're going to find out, I would assume, by these spring meetings that are going to be coming up here in a few months. But I'm just setting the primer. Don't be shocked if Texas and Texas A&M are not annual permanent opponents. It may come down to Texas getting Oklahoma and Arkansas as their two top-tier SEC opponents, and we'd see how else it would shake out. So anyway, just file that one away. All right, it's after further review. We're glad to have you aboard with us here. Brought to you by South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com. I talk all the time about the new vehicles, but remember, certified pre-owned as well. Because they move more inventory than any other Volkswagen dealership, they have more certified pre-owned inventory as well. Talk to Kerry Manuel, the pre-owned manager, all the time. He runs through the inventory that they have. You go to the website, hit the used vehicle tab, you'll see it's not just Volkswagens. It's all makes and models. So if you're in the market for a used vehicle, a pre-owned vehicle, that's fantastic. Look, there's a Jetta, there's a Toyota Tacoma 2022, there's a 2022 Volkswagen Atlas. So shop the pre-owned lots, but make sure you shop South Point Volkswagen as well. Right there, airline just north of Highland, or online at southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction? All right, we do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions. The Alabama Crimson Tide.
A former NFL coach, Ken Wisenhunt, joined Alabama's football staff as special assistant to the head coach, assistant to the regional manager. He spent 2 seasons as an offensive analyst at Penn State. Of course, the former Arizona Cardinals and Tennessee Titans head coach. Interestingly, former LSU quarterback Zach Mettenberger is an analyst on Bama's staff. Mettenberger is married to Ken Wisenhunt's daughter. So maybe Mettenberger got his father-in-law a gig.
The Ole Miss Rebels.
Ole Miss linebacker Ashanti Sistrunk has officially withdrawn his name from the transfer portal. 6'1", 230-pounder. Sistrunk played in all 13 games last year for the Rebs, making one start. In 4 seasons at Ole Miss, he's played in a total of 48 games, so he'll be a veteran piece there for Pete Golding.
The Florida Gators.
Florida beat Ole Miss last night on the hardwood by 15, second largest margin of victory in SEC play this season, but that was hardly the story. Colin Castleton, senior center, broke his hand. Looks like his Florida career is over. The 7-footer leads the team in scoring, rebounding, block shots, steals, and is second in assists. This is a massive blow, obviously, for Florida. Looks like senior Jason Jitabo will replace and handle a bulk of those minutes for Castleton while he's out. Last night on the hardwood, we mentioned one score, of course, which was Florida handling Ole Miss 79-64. How about Tennessee? They're at the Tommy Bowl, Thompson Bowling Arena. They beat number 1 Alabama, so the Crimson Tide in their first game as number 1, they fall by 9, 68-59. Kentucky went on the road and beat Mississippi State 71-68. Unfortunately, State was Otter's best play of the night last night. That did not hit. Always bet evenly. And then Texas A&M at home beats Arkansas 62-56. The Aggies 11-2 in conference play. What's more surprising, A&M at 11-2 or Arkansas at 6-7?
Texas A&M!
I'll take it. There you have it. That is Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy Trey Beal and our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products. Online at gcopnet.com. gcopnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. Face-to-face sales, service after the sale. That's what you get at Gulf Coast Office Products. All right, it's after further review. Let me knock out our final break of hour number 1. Bo Lowery, Director of Sports Medicine for LSU. He's coming up in about 15 minutes. Kind of give you a primer physically for spring football, how LSU looks going into spring as the spring practice dates have now been announced. Tigers will start spring on March the 9th. Stay here. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Darren James and Associates, powered by eXp Realty. Every home listed by every company, all in one place, agent225.com. You know, one of the things Darren tells me all the time, if it's important to that person, it's important to me. And the thing with Darren is it's not just words. Actions speak louder than words. And when you talk to Darren James, and when you hire Darren James, and when you work with Darren James, you will see those actions manifest over and over again. I've been on the phone with Darren at 11 o'clock at night. He's in a client's home that's no longer occupying the home, changing a light bulb for a showing or something like that. It's just incredible, the man's work ethic. He always says, late to bed, early to rise, work like heck, and advertise. Darren has the systems, the people, the processes in place to get your home sold faster for more money. If you need to sell your home, you need Darren James. 335-7666, 335-7666, or agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
I've been doing business with Lewis for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Otter.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure glad you're here.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
Start your day with news and newsmakers.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
So I dig this. The XFL is going to return to play this weekend. I don't dig that. I don't really care. Chances are I won't be watching the XFL. Actually, that's a good poll question for the day. Let's make that our Citizens Bank and Trust poll question of the day. Maybe we can have two. Number one, is Musso a crybaby about the game time being moved? Oh, that can be number one. Paul, do you think Musso is being a crybaby about the game time being moved?
A little bit.
Yeah, right. I thought so. Yeah. I mean, maybe we shouldn't put that one up because that would be unanimous. Or, Paulie, should we put it up just to prove a point?
Let's put it up just to prove a point.
Yeah, okay. All right, so Muse, poll question number one. Is Musso being a crybaby about the game time move? Yes or no?
I thought this was a safe space for him.
No, it's not a safe space. Yes, it is a safe space. But that has nothing to do with this being a safe space. This is more about growing and developing emotionally as a human, is what that is. Okay, that's number one. Number two, are you going to watch the XFL? So, do you remember when the XFL launched like 23 years ago? Like the original, or 22 years ago, like 2001, the original launch of the XFL. When the relaunch happened in 2020, we had a lot of these conversations. Of course, that was derailed because of COVID. But one of the things that came up with the relaunch of the XFL in 2020 was the ways that the XFL in 2001 impacted football. Maybe most notably was Skycam. The XFL was the first broadcast that used the camera over the field. And then every broadcast adopted that because it was a really cool vantage point. Now, not everything stuck. Like, remember, they eschewed a coin toss and instead did like the scrambled, like a fumble drill. They put a ball down. Two guys had to like basically recover the football 5 yards apart. Apparently, dudes crashing into each other with a 10-yard running head start wasn't a great idea to maintain or to determine possession. But anyway, some things stuck. And the reason it's kind of cool is because the XFL has the runway to do new things. Like, they have to be different. They can't try to replicate the NFL because they're never going to be able to. They don't have the athletes and the legacy and all that sort of stuff. So they have to try new and different things. And some of those new and different things, if they work, can ultimately impact the NFL or college football or any other level of football. And this is one that I am very, very interested in seeing how it goes. This essentially becomes a test case. You know how like minor league baseball, like major, they'll use things, they'll introduce things in minor league baseball to see if it's something that they want to implement into Major League Baseball, like starting extra innings with a runner on second base, a pitch clock, robo-umps. Didn't minor league baseball use robo-umps last year? So like stuff like that. This is a great example. And one of the things the XFL is going to do this weekend, and this, remember Dean Blandino? Y'all know the name. Dean Blandino, he's the XFL's VP of Officiating and Rules Innovation. He was a longtime NFL ref. You see him on TV and all that stuff. So Dean Blandino has said one of the things the XFL is doing is they're giving coaches an opportunity to challenge anything. One time per game, an all-in challenge, any officiating decision if you have a timeout remaining. As long as you have a timeout remaining, you can challenge anything. Spot of the ball, a penalty, a subjective penalty, possession, anything. Catch, no catch, possession, turnover. That's going to be fascinating because sometimes there are things that seem so obvious but are not able to be challenged under the way the rule is written. Why not? And if there is enough of a deterrent for coaches not to waste that challenge because you'd have to use a timeout and you only get one of them. You'd better make sure it's worth using. I love the idea. So that's one thing. I can't tell you I'm going to be locked into the XFL or watching these games or have any kind of rooting interest. And my guess is most of you won't be either. It's something that will be on. It's an option to watch if it's something you want to watch. But that's one thing I'm going to be fascinated to see, because if it works well and proves it can work well, maybe that's something we see adopted in the NFL and college football and so on. All right, it's after further review. Speaking of adopting things, electric vehicles were such a huge part of the Super Bowl. If you watched all the ads, we've been telling you about ProCharge EV. That's part of Terio's new group as well. ProCharge EV, it's electric vehicle charging stations, electric vehicle chargers for your home or for an office building, commercial building. One of the things I really want to hammer home, remember, if you own, manage, work for, know someone who works for a car dealership, one of the things we've learned, you saw it on the Super Bowl ads, they're all ramping up production of EVs. So with them ramping up production of EVs, all of the car dealerships have to have EV chargers in order to get their inventory. If that's you, if you own, manage, work for a car dealership and you need EV chargers, ProCharge. Go to ProChargeEV.com. There's an easy contact us tab right there at the top of the page. You can get all the info you need. It's at ProChargeEV.com. Again, ProChargeEV.com. Superior EV charging solutions for your home or business. ProChargeEV.com. All right, it's after further review. Thanks for being here with us on this Thursday. Excited about this. LSU spring football date has now been announced. Director of Sports Medicine, Bo Lowery, joins us coming right after SportsCenter. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
All this month at the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, great specials, even though Valentine's Day has already passed. Like $100 off lip filler. That's all this month over at the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Also, they've got the absolute latest technology in microneedling, and all of those packages are deeply discounted this month as they introduce the new technology. I've told you this before. The Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana has been voted the nation's top aesthetic practice. That was at the Las Vegas National Aesthetic Show in Las Vegas. Voted the #1 aesthetic practice in the country. They're right here in Baton Rouge. Blue Bond in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette. If you want to look and feel like your younger self, the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana can help. Learn more online. Book that consultation. TheAntiAgingClinics.com. Again, online at TheAntiAgingClinics.com.
I'm Chris Nakamoto, and here's what I'm working on for my stories on WBRZ Channel 2 tonight. The Louisiana Department of Health cited a nursing home in Port Allen with deficiencies and noncompliance after an unsupervised resident managed to walk outside and die. The coroner's office determined hypothermia was a factor that led to his death. Tonight, employees say what happened here was inexcusable, as the family remains skeptical anything will change. I'm Chris Nakamoto from WBRZ. Watch more tonight on WBRZ Channel 2.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off MSRP on select new 2022 Ford F-150 trucks. $10,000 off plus 0% financing. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Saturday, February 25th, 7 p.m. The Bulls, Bands, and Barrels Tour at the Lamar Dixon Expo Center. Presented by Jerry Lane Chevrolet. Edge of your seat excitement with bull riding, barrel racing, ultimate bullfighting. With a live performance by Bailey Zimmerman. With Timothy Wayne, plus two-time PBR world champion Chris Shivers, and Brinson James, the entertainer. Tickets and information at bullsbandsandbarrels.com. Saturday, February 25th, Lamar Dixon Expo Center at 7 p.m. Presented by Jerry Lane Chevrolet, the #1 Chevrolet dealer in Louisiana.
Women who suffer from cardiac arrest outside of a hospital are less likely than men to receive life-saving CPR from bystanders. This is especially true for Black and Latino women. Be the one in your family to help change this statistic by taking the American Heart Association's challenge to learn CPR. Be the beat for someone you love. You can make a difference when it matters most. Go to heart.org today to take the CPR challenge and save lives.
I've been doing business with Lewis for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Water.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. Tiger Woods playing the first round at Riviera Country Club, his first regular tour event since October of 2020. Woods is even par through 7 holes. Live coverage right now on ESPN+. The last NBA game before the All-Star break, the Suns hosting the Clippers tonight in Phoenix. Kevin Durant still recovering from a right knee sprain. When will he make his Suns debut? ESPN's Nick Friedel.
It felt around the league like, well, the All-Star break will come and go, and that Oklahoma City game here in Phoenix after the break, Kevin may be on the floor. I don't think that's as much of a slam dunk as it first appeared to be, because the Suns want to be very cautious, of course.
Nick Friedel. ESPN's Baxter Holmes reports former Suns owner Robert Sarver will give $20,000 bonuses to many team employees. Sarver sold the team to mortgage lender Matt Ishbia after an NBA investigation into his conduct. Former big league catcher and broadcaster Tim McCarver died today in Memphis. McCarver played 21 years and then called 23 World Series.
Coming up Friday, it's Michael Jordan's 60th birthday, which means we'll celebrate all of his greatest accomplishments. The GOAT's greatest accomplishments. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, 6 a.m. Eastern, ESPN Radio, ESPN2, ESPNU.
If you haven't taken problems off the bat for you,
very important. After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Matt? Paul O'Neill?
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
We doing Muso or do we have Beck? We do Muso. Muso. There it is. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. We'll talk to LSU pitching coach Wes Johnson next hour. If you haven't heard yet, LSU baseball has moved their season opener up to 3 o'clock tomorrow because of the threat of cold weather in the Baton Rouge area tomorrow night. So 3 o'clock first pitch for LSU season opener. That means our event, Take Me Out to Tallulah, scrapped for tomorrow. We're going to move it to March 10th. So it'll be at the Renaissance March the 10th. Please make note. So there's no sense in having a game watch tomorrow if there's no game tomorrow night. So, all right, man, I'm excited about this. Always appreciate we get a couple minutes with our buddy Bo Lowery, LSU's director of sports medicine. A lot of years with the New Orleans Saints. Basically, the guy who was responsible for making sure Drew Brees stayed on the field for as long as he did. And you came back to LSU, and we're glad to have Bo in town. Good to spend a couple of minutes here with Bo. How are you, man?
Great, man. Thanks, Matt. I appreciate you having me on.
Always, man. It's our pleasure when we get a few minutes. I told you I want to talk about Zion a little bit and that hamstring injury. But let's start with a little LSU football because so spring dates have been announced. So March 9th they'll begin. But what's the process like for you and your staff from the end of the season until spring, getting these guys ready to go?
Well, a lot of what we do is as soon as the season's over, man, we're evaluating where they are. We had a couple of guys that were playing with some underlying issues, so we go ahead and address those, whether that be surgery, whether that be rehab, and we make sure that during the springtime that they're getting back to 100%. So when the summer gets here, that they're full go, ready, feel as good as they're going to feel, and then get ready for camp. So that's sort of the process, training room wise. And I tell you, we have one of the best strength coaches in the country, man. Like when I tell you what Jake Flint and his staff does, so all the newcomers and then even the returning guys, man, they're in the weight room, and there's a progressive program that's actually put in place, working with those guys from a running, lifting standpoint. Then, we have Dr. Matt Franks, who's our nutritionist, who's making sure these guys are being supplemented correctly. And if there's any underlying issues, identifying those. And it may not even be an issue that the kid's aware of, right? Maybe vitamin D's low or, issues like that we can test, be able to put a plan together from a nutritional standpoint. So it's really right now about getting these guys in the best shape of their life and then getting them ready for spring ball. So, Coach Kelly's one of the best in the country at doing this. We actually look at their player loads and graduate them from having a mindset of they haven't done anything. They get on campus, and even if it's guys that are returning from the bowl game, and we start pretty slow and we build them up and we know exactly where they need to be for spring ball and what their player loads need to be, and then you just progress from there. And then Coach Kelly does a great job of actually putting, practice plans together that there's no real big acute on chronic spike in their player load, and really get to work on football during that point in time. And then spring will be over, and then we'll transition back into the grind of, hey, let's get better, bigger, faster, stronger, and then get ready for camp.
Yeah, man, it's that process. It feels so complicated, but you make it sound so easy to get through, which I know it's not. What about the guys that are dealing with injuries, Bo? Is there what is the I would assume this varies coach by coach, but if guys are dealing with injuries from the season, what's the emphasis on what the workload will be like, or trying to get guys back onto the field for spring? Or is it more, hey, let's just make sure they're ready for the fall?
No, look, I will say this, man. Coach Kelly really helps with this, but the emphasis is our kids, right? So there will be some kids that will be ready to do some limited work in spring. There's going to be some kids that won't be available in spring. It's really player specific, and what do we need to do to put that individual in the best position to be ready to go for fall camp? So it varies across the board. Some won't be participating, some will be participating limited, and some guys will be ready come spring ball. So,
Bo Lowery's with us, LSU Director of Sports Medicine. I know a lot of people ask about Mason Smith. Coach Kelly gave an update on him just a few weeks ago. From your vantage point, man, how's he done getting over that ACL?
Great. Works his tail off every day. And in that process, these dealing with an ACL and coming back from that, it's just a long, tedious process. And you can tell the guys, I say this all the time from being in the NFL, guys who are going to be really successful in how they deal with adversity. So when I see these guys who have, long-term injury and they have to have surgery, man, it's really how they respond once the rehab cycle starts and how they attack it. That tells me exactly how they're going to be as a player. So he's doing great. No,
that's great to hear, man. I know a lot of people pulling for him. That was such a tough thing to see it go down the way that it did. But what about the newcomers coming in? I mean, you bring in about roughly 11, 12 transfer players. What's that process like for you and your staff getting to know the new guys and where they are physically, the early enrollees before they go into spring?
Yeah, look, time on task, man. That's just like, me and you. You're a patient of mine, and you know about me, but you don't really know me until we were able to spend time together. So that process is sort of a building process, and it starts from day one when they get on campus, and we go through and do physicals with them and find out where they are, some come in and have issues or limitations, and we treat them, the same way as any of our guys that have been with us. So you identify any issues, and if there's no issues, then, you pull them to the side at times and just try to spend time with them so they get a good feel of who we are and what we're about. The good thing for me is I've met most of these guys in the recruiting process, so we play an active part in that. So they come in, see our facility, they know what the expectation is from the training room, and then they know what services we're going to provide. So a lot of times they're really proactive. I would say way back in the day, it was a negative to be in the athletic training room, whereas this day and age, it's like, you better be in there, you better be proactive, take care of yourself. So it's been great. I mean, I'll tell you what, this new group has been awesome. So couldn't say enough good things about them.
That's great to hear, man. One other guy I did want to ask about, I know we heard that Mekhi Wingo was going to have surgery. I don't know if he's already had that, Beau, but can you give us kind of an update on him, how he's doing, what kind of his spirits are like?
Well, I just say he's great. This dude he's a stud, and he's awesome. I love this guy. He's going to be ready when it's his time.
Bo Lowery is with us, Director of Sports Medicine for LSU. Should also mention, of course, Beau is the co-owner and director of physical therapy services over at Traction PT, which, of course, is a great partner of ours here in AFR as well. So when I tell you about Traction, it's like you're going over there being treated by a staff that's all under the direction of Bo Lowery. So you know you're in great hands when you get over to Traction. Hey, I wanted to ask you, Beau, about Zion. And I know, you're not there with the Pelicans, so you can't necessarily say anything specific about that injury. But I'm more interested because there's this question about, okay, it's a hamstring and he's coming back from it and then he has a setback, and is it him? Is it the treatment process? Is it how do you go about when you're that big and explosive, how do you go about treating a hamstring?
Well, it's a great question. And look, hamstrings are complicated. A lot of times people go, well, it's only a hamstring strain. Those people have no idea. A hamstring strain can vary from really no missed time. I can tell you, we had a player in New Orleans, I'm not going to name his name, that, he had a hamstring issue. We get an MRI the day after. We see it's a grade 2, and this guy missed no time. And it's like players like that make people like me look really, really good when it's nothing about me. It's all about him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then you have guys who have very MRI findings are very minute, and then they wind up missing 2 or 3 weeks. So it just varies among the players. I'll tell you this, man. I know Aaron Nelson. Give you a little background on Aaron. Aaron Nelson, who sort of he's the vice president of player health with the Pelicans. Man, I reached out to him in 2015, and the reason I reached out to him, he was at Phoenix at the time, taking care of the Phoenix Suns, and he was sort of known by NBA players as the guru, the guy. And when I tell you, he was an awesome resource for me, and people like Shaquille, people like Grant Hill stood on the table and said, man, this guy added years to my career. This guy is the best ever. So that's why I reached out to him. So when you look at situations like a hamstring that lingers, especially with somebody as explosive as Zion, man, it could be many factors. It could be a lot of different issues. And I'm not going to speculate on what it is, but I know this. I know in looking at that staff with Aaron and with Tom, their head trainer, I'm telling you, there's not a better staff in the NBA. There's just not. I actually had the chance to go over and visit with them, took some of the baseball staff over there because they were just interested in the analytics that is happening. And I'm telling you what, impressive what they're doing. And but it is challenging. A hamstring's challenging, right? Is it a tendon-based injury? Is it mid-substance-based? Is it more high? If he didn't have surgery, it's probably not an insertional deal. So it's just a process. And when you have somebody big and explosive like Zion, it becomes a little bit more challenging because, man, those guys who are big and heavy and have a lot of quick twitch fiber, man, it's just harder to get 100% as opposed to 95%.
Yeah. Is last thing, there's this convo that we all have, and it's like, is a player like that, because of his size and his explosiveness, just going to be injury prone? And I think we've looked for examples of guys that maybe had injury problems earlier in their career that overcame it. And people mentioned like Steph Curry, who had ankle injuries, and a guy like Joel Embiid, who had foot problems. For a 7-footer to have foot problems, it's scary, but he's overcome it. Is there reason to believe that they can find that sweet spot for Zion where he will be a sort of a sustainable player in the NBA?
100%. 100%. That, and a lot of times young guys, and look, Zion's still really young.
Yeah.
Right? There is an acclimation process to the stress. And basketball, I mean, you think about football and people say, absolutely, I understand stress, but where's the stress in basketball? Basketball is extremely stressful. And then when you look at, man, the travel days that these guys have, I hear people complain all the time about, the player load and you're resting players, and I don't understand why you're doing that. Well, man, you're doing that because, do you understand, after a flight, you're going to be more dehydrated. You're going to be more susceptible as you get older. Like, there's so many factors. And I think that's what makes Aaron and his group elite at what they do, because it's not just typical athletic training, man. It's data-driven. And people like Zion, people who are special like that, special talent, sometimes it just takes a few years, man, to get acclimated to the stress. And then once they get acclimated to it and they're surrounded by elite people like Aaron's group, man, I have no worries about him in the future. Is it a little bit aggravating for the fans and for all of us, because we love Zion, we know what he brings to the table, but, man, long-term, zero issues. And I tell you what, those people in that building, Dave Griffin and those guys, they're really smart people. If they thought there were issues, man, they wouldn't have signed him to an extension either. So I think as fans, a lot of times it's knee-jerk reaction, but, man, give those guys the benefit of the doubt, because we're fortunate to have Aaron Nelson and his staff here in New Orleans.
Bo, I could talk to you for hours, man. I appreciate the time and the insight as always. I'll call on you again at some point, man. Thanks as always for taking the time. We appreciate it.
Hey, man, appreciate being on with you.
All right, man, we'll do it again soon. That is Bo Lowery. He's LSU's director of sports medicine. If you don't know Bo, Bo is literally the guy that was Drew Brees' right hand, who Drew trusted Bo to keep him on the field for as long as he did. I mean, and so Bo had been at LSU, left LSU, was with the Saints, the Pelicans for a long time, and then when Drew retired, Bo came back to work at LSU. Now he's LSU's director of sports medicine, but I'm telling you, that's a dude that is as respected as they come. So Bo Lowery tells me I have zero issues about Zion's sustainability long term. Like, he wouldn't put his reputation out there saying that's great there. And of course, Bo's one of the co-owners. He's the head of physical therapy over at Traction Physical Therapy as well, which is one of our new partners and sponsors. We've talked about Traction forever, of course, but formally now one of our sponsors. So if you need physical therapy, you choose where you go for your physical therapy. Go to Traction Physical Therapy. All right, it's after further review. Let me knock out a quick break. Dennis Allen spoke about his new staff in New Orleans. I got some takeaways from that. We'll get to it next. It's AFR. AFR is brought to you by Rouse's. Y'all, we are moving into springtime, and springtime at Rouse's means crawfish time. Live or boiled, get by Rouse's. Any of the locations. You can go to rouses.com to get more information. That's rouses.com. Or just walk into any of the Rouse's locations. They're boiling crawfish every single day. And y'all, they have their own boiling rooms at Rouse's. So it's not like these are outsourced. They're boiled right there on site daily at all the Rouse's locations. When you walk in, go into any Rouse's, go to the left. Go to the seafood department. You'll see the hot and boiled kiosks. They'll have the boiled crawfish already bagged, priced. Grab it and go. It's at Rouse's. Rouse's is the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. We always say Rouse's, this feels like home. For party trays, dinner tonight, or all your groceries, they got you at Rouse's. So go to rouses.com or find the Rouse's nearest you. Rouse's, this feels like home.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, anytime. Hunt Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Toyota in Opelousas is spreading the love this month with amazing deals. Get 3.99% financing on new 23 Highlanders, and as always, you'll never pay over MSRP. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure glad you're here.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
Saturday, February 25th, 7 p.m. The Bulls, Bands, and Barrels Tour at the Lamar Dixon Expo Center. Presented by Jerry Lane Chevrolet. Edge of your seat excitement with bull riding, barrel racing, ultimate bullfighting. With a live performance by Bailey Zimmerman. With Timothy Wayne. Plus two-time PBR world champion Chris Shivers. And Brinson James, the entertainer. Tickets and information at bullsbandsandbarrels.com. Saturday, February 25th. Lamar Dixon Expo Center at 7 p.m. Presented by Jerry Lane Chevrolet. The #1 Chevrolet dealer in Louisiana.
Women who suffer from cardiac arrest outside of a hospital are less likely than men to receive life-saving CPR from bystanders. This is especially true for Black and Latino women. Be the one in your family to help change this statistic by taking the American Heart Association's challenge to learn CPR.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Well, the Saints have had a good bit of turnover on their staff here this offseason. Of course, they've lost both of their co-defensive coordinators, turned over a couple of staff spots that were intentional, I guess we could say, where guys weren't retained. And then you've had, obviously, Ryan Nielsen, who got a promotion, going to be the Falcons' defensive coordinator. Zach Strief, who's now the offensive line coach with the Denver Broncos. And Dennis Allen could be on the verge of losing potentially another assistant. This just in from Tom Pelissero. The Cardinals have requested an interview with Saints running back coach Joel Thomas for their OC job, per source. That's Tom Pelissero. And soon to be from Dov Kleeman, per Tom Pelissero. Actually, can we check to see if Dov has it yet? I bet he does.
He actually doesn't yet.
He will soon. There's no question. Dov Kleeman, of course, as we maintain here, is not a real person. Dov Kleeman is it's an account run by a real person, but Dov Kleeman is not a real person. He's a made-up guy that just repurposes other news sources, and he's got a really big Twitter following. So that'll be there soon, no doubt. But I can't tell you the Joel Thomas news is a little it's a little interesting. Mostly because I think the Saints, look, this was his 8th season with the Saints and his 15th year in coaching. So he got to the Saints in 2015, and the Saints have had a lot of success on the ground in that time. Of course, you had Mark Ingram in place, and then you drafted Alvin Kamara, and Ingram-Kamara in tandem were really good for a few years. Of course, Mark Ingram, the Saints weren't able to reach a free agent deal. Ingram went to Baltimore and then to Houston. As we know, the Saints brought him back. I mean, you all know the story. But, boy, this wouldn't actually exactly be the year where you would tout the running backs coach. The Saints didn't draft a running back, but they invested a relatively large amount of money in Abram Smith, the Baylor running back, as an undrafted free agent, to think that he might be that guy. Didn't make the team. You whiffed on guys like David Johnson, Eno Benjamin, who you brought in. You had Mark Ingram back, and he was injured late in the season, but really wasn't very productive when he was healthy. Kamara, by Kamara standards, didn't have a great year, but still had over 200 attempts and ran for 900 yards and was your third leading receiver. So, Kamara had a very productive season on an offensive team that just wasn't very good. But we'll follow this to see that the Cardinals are interviewing an awful lot of people for that gig, and we'll see if in fact Joel Thomas ends up getting that job, and if Dennis Allen needs to replace his running backs coach as well. But what we do know is that the Saints have hired 5 new assistants, and the interesting thing about the hires that they made, by and large, they're coaches that have ties to Dennis Allen. Joe Woods is the new defensive coordinator. Dennis Allen hired him in Oakland. Marcus Robertson is the new secondaries coach. Dennis Allen hired him in Oakland. Of course, there's Todd Grantham, Clancy Barone, Kevin Carberry also joined the staff. Dennis Allen did an interview with John DeShazer over at the Saints website at NewOrleansSaints.com. And one of the things that Dennis Allen said, I'm reading this quote from Dennis Allen. He said, again, this is a quote from Dennis Allen. He said, the number one thing was I was looking to make some changes on the staff. I wanted guys that I knew exactly what I was getting. I had familiarity with these coaches, and they're all really good coaches. He talked about Joe Woods. Joe Woods was a guy hired in Oakland in 2014. Him and Marcus Robertson also in 2014, both as secondary coaches. They both worked for me together in Oakland. When you look at their resume, over the course of their resumes, they've had a ton of success. He talks about, Joe was there in Denver when they won the Super Bowl. He goes through the list of these guys and his familiarity with them. And I guess there are 2 ways to look at that. Number one, you could say it's great to have that familiarity and continuity on staff. And in one respect, that's true because there's an expectation of there's an understanding of what the head coach's expectation is. We saw that with Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly, when he came into LSU, brought some of his Notre Dame staff with him. He brought Brian Polian. He brought Jake Flint. He tried to bring Tommy Reese, as we know. And I think there is a great benefit to that, of bringing in guys that have familiarity with you. But look beyond that as well. I mean, Brian Kelly had no awareness or relationship with Frank Wilson. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't know anything about Cortez Hankton. They weren't friends, hadn't worked together, nothing like that. But he knew what holes he had to fill on his staff. He needed ties to Louisiana, ties to New Orleans for recruiting. And he blended a staff of guys he knew and guys that knew Louisiana that fit the culture that he was looking for. He was very comfortable and confident in his ability to go hire good coaches. And that's a collegiate example, but it's what and what. It's less about college or NFL and more about, as a leader, do you know what you're looking for? Are you confident enough in your ability to identify the qualities of successful people in that position and then go hire them? I mean, if you want the antithesis of that, it's what Ed Ogeron did here. All Ed did was promote from within and hire people he knew. and it blew up. Or he took the recommendations of people who told him, just hire this guy. I mean, that's how you end up with Bo Pelini, who was lazy and done. So there are some coaches who just deserve the benefit of the doubt. Bill Belichick deserves the benefit of the doubt. If Bill Belichick wants to bring Bill O'Brien back to New England, they've had success together, and Bill Belichick deserves the benefit of the doubt. Nick Saban deserves the benefit of the doubt. He's had enough turnover on his staff, and time again, he finds guys. Actually, that's a great example of going outside of your tree, outside of your circle. Saban had no ties to Lane Kiffin. He had no ties to Brian Daboll. Had no ties to Bill O'Brien. He's gone and identified good coaches that do the things that he wants. He's brought them in. And so when I look at Dennis Allen, retaining a lot of Sean Payton's staff a year ago was a problem because it wasn't his staff. And you saw the issues that you had. Well, now he's going to hire, and it feels like he's just making the same mistake. He's going and hire guys that he's comfortable with, that he knows. Like, it's been a long time since Dennis Allen was a coach in Oakland in 2014. It's been almost a decade. Think about the number of coaches that have come into the league and out of the league since 2014. Think about how much the league has changed since 2014. Y'all, 2014, the Carolina Panthers won the division at 7-8-1 in 2014. Cam Newton won the MVP a year later. Cam Newton's out of the league. I mean, that's been so... He had Matt McGloin on his roster in 2014. Like, the league has changed so much. Identify good young coaching talent, go get it. That's what worries me. Well, I mean, it reinforces my concern about Dennis Allen. It reinforces my feeling that I just don't think Dennis Allen's ever going to be a great head coach. Defensive coordinator, absolutely. He's got the resume. He's got the track record. He has got the skins on the wall as a DC to know that this is a great defensive coach in the NFL. There's a difference between being a good defensive coordinator and being a good head coach. Say it all the time. It's the difference between being a lieutenant and a general. Not every lieutenant's meant to be a general. And I think this is just evidence of it. I hope I'm wrong. I hope all these hires prove to be great. But I would think to a man, we would all agree, or to a woman, to a person, the biggest thing the Saints needed to change this year was their offense. And you blew out Dan Rauscher. I mean, you made your run game coordinator the fall guy, the tight ends coach, the fall guy. You didn't change the thing fundamentally that made your offense so bad. And that's a problem. Either the inability to identify that or the unwillingness to change it. And that's the problem. And I think that's going to persist. That's going to continue to be the problem for the New Orleans Saints for as long as Dennis Allen's there. 5 new coaches join the staff. Guys that Dennis Allen's familiar with. I'm not so sure that's a great thing. All right. It's after further review. Brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020. 924-2020 or WilliamsonEye.com. That's WilliamsonEye.com. Had some fun yesterday chatting with the Ott father, the Otter. Of course, Jimmy Ott had the lens replacement over by Dr. Blake Williamson at the Williamson Eye Center a few years back. I had LASIK. No matter what your refractive issue is, the Williamson Eye Center has a solution for you. Call 924-2020, 924-2020. Book that free consultation. Remember, it's an all-service eye center. If it's eye care, eyewear, or eye surgery. Your annual eye exam, if you wear contacts or glasses, they can certainly sell those to you as well. But if you want to live your life without contacts or glasses, the Williamson Eye Center has a solution. Go for that consultation today. Call 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com. All right, it's after further review. Musial will have Tigers and the Pros coming up in about 15 minutes from right now. LSU pitching coach Wes Johnson in 45 minutes. So we're looking forward to having Wes here. We're going to do that weekly during the season with Wes Johnson. He's agreed to come on weekly. I'm really excited about that. Guy who's got that depth and level of experience and knowledge. Talk about the LSU series every week. We're looking forward to having Wes Johnson join us weekly here on AFR. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll continue. Stick around.
AFR.
We're brought to you by New Orleans Flooring. Of course, you can always get to the website at nolaflooring.com, nolaflooring.com, but I would highly recommend take a few minutes, take some time, and go into the showroom. Go experience the thing that I've told you about with New Orleans Flooring. The two locations, Metairie and Prairieville. The Prairieville location is on Airline Highway. If you go south on Airline, you pass the Walmart on the right, and New Orleans Flooring is right there. Go into New Orleans Flooring. Go meet Terrell. Go meet Big Sean Richardson, who I tell you about all the time. Go meet their staff. They're super friendly. And go through all the options. You know, I tell you all the time, they've got over 1 million square foot of flooring in stock, and because they keep their flooring in stock, they cut out the middleman, which means they can give you a better price on the best quality flooring you'll find anywhere. It's at New Orleans Flooring. We talk price a ton, but their service, their expert-level installers, that's top-notch as well. It's New Orleans Flooring. Metairie, Prairieville, and online at nolaflooring.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Levy for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Otter.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Hey, Muse.
Yeah.
How you feeling? Better?
I mean, I've been okay this whole time. For like
The hour and a half we've been in here.
You feel better now? You feel like you calm down a little bit?
I was calm when we came in.
Paul, was he calm when he came in?
Not when he came in.
That's a lie from Paul.
Is he calmer now than he was when he came in?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, okay. Got it. This actually explains it. I got a text into the show from Lenson Mobile, who said, we all know Musso is not going to give a crap once he takes his bathroom break at 4:20. Makes sense, doesn't it, Paulie? I mean, it's like a lot of the tension has left the room here in the last half hour, so hadn't it? Hadn't it?
For sure.
I mean, it makes some sense, doesn't it?
It's gotten a lot calmer on this side.
Popped that gummy, took about 15 minutes, now it's hitting, he's feeling pretty good. Look at him over there. Look at him. He's hanging.
Y'all are the worst.
If you mean we're the best, then I agree.
Linson, too, that guy.
Yeah, that guy, Linson. Appreciate that. All right. Look, our guy, Jerry. 4:20 will be coming early today for Musso. I think it came right on time, actually. Or unless
it didn't come at all. It never does.
I mean, this is your safe space.
No,
Muse?
it's not.
It's your safe space. It's okay. You know, it's a very understood thing, Muse. Maybe it's even medicinal. You know, I mean, it's helps you sleep.
Get a prescription.
Helps you sleep.
No.
Yeah.
No.
That's what T-Bob says, right?
Well, is it? I don't know.
Boy, he's spaced out right now, isn't he, Paulie?
Just a little bit.
Oh, man. Wow. Struggling to find the words. I get it. It's all good. Glad to have you back, Muse. Good to have you back. It's after further review. By the way, again, if you missed, the LSU baseball season opener tomorrow, they moved first pitch. It was 6:30 scheduled. They moved it up to 3 o'clock because of cold weather. I mean, it's still going to be like 49 degrees, 50 degrees at first pitch. By the time the game wraps, it'll probably be in the 40s, which it would have been anyway. But I don't know that it's markedly different, although it will be during the day. It'll be sunny and probably calm as opposed to at night where it'll be windy. So anyway, they're going to play the game at 3 o'clock, so they move first pitch up. Some of the things that we know, and again, we're going to talk to Wes Johnson, LSU's pitching coach, a little more than 30 minutes from right now. We did learn that it's confirmed now. They're going to go Paul Skeens, Riley Cooper, Chase Shores, the freshman. So looking forward to seeing all those guys get out there. One of the here was keep play number 3, please. This was Jay Johnson on his decision to go with this rotation opening weekend.
I think this one was pretty simple. I think Paul is one of the best pitchers, if not the best pitcher in college baseball. I think Riley and Chase have been the 2 best performers from October 10th till this last weekend of inter squads, and it's really not close. And then the other thing it also does is, with Grant's injury, it allows us to set things up a little bit differently.
And as you heard him say there, Grant Taylor was going to be very likely the Saturday guy this weekend, but ultimately the expectation, we'll talk about this with Wes Johnson in about half an hour, is to get Thatcher Hurd ramped up. We're going to talk to Wes about that. So what does that mean? What's it going to take to get Thatcher Hurd to a point where they're comfortable with him being in the weekend rotation? There's 2 other position battles we've talked about. It's at second base and it's at the corner outfield spot. Here was keep play number 9, please. This was Jay Johnson on the battle going on there at second base.
Yeah, I think a little bit. I think I feel good about all of those guys. I think they know what they do well, and I think they have good faith in us to put them in the right position for their skills to come out at the time of the game that we need them to come out. Pitching matchups as far as who we're facing, we'll make a determination on that. Who we're pitching, we'll make a determination on that, beginning of the game, end of the game. So I just have good confidence in all those guys that we talked about a few weeks ago.
And the guys that you're looking at second base are Gavin Dugas, the freshman Gavin Guidry, and then Ben DePolt, the VCU transfer. You'll probably hear them mention Jack Merrifield as well, a guy who's a good young player who's worked really hard. He's a local guy and played a lot, probably passed up by those other guys. And my expectation is ultimately that Gavin Guidry, by the time you get into meaningful baseball in April and May and June, that Gavin Guidry is going to have taken over that job. And next year, Gavin Guidry is going to be your starting shortstop. Something else that's interesting is Jay Johnson did mention today they're going to start working Gavin Guidry on the mound as well, which he did pitch in high school. But maybe it's one of those things where they can get him involved and get another arm involved on the mound as well. And then the corner outfield spot is the other one worth watching with, of course, Paxton Kling, Braden Joubert, and Josh Pearson. There's some other really good outfielders there as well. Stevenson's worth keeping an eye on, but you're going to see a lot of those guys play and a lot of them rotate early. But I'd be surprised, as we talked about yesterday, I'd be surprised when they line it up tomorrow at 3 o'clock if I expect the corner outfielders. You're going to have Joubert in left, and you'll have Paxton Kling in right, Dylan Cruz, of course, in center. And so we'll see who can win those jobs and earn those positions on a full-time basis and how long that takes. But some of the things worth keeping an eye on as they throw out the ball. First pitch tomorrow for LSU baseball against Western Michigan at 3 o'clock, and you can listen to it on our sister station, Eagle 98.1. All right, after further reviews brought to you by Mold Zero USA, Mold-Zero USA. Actually got a text from someone on the text line a bit ago. Said, hey, what's the mold company you talk about? I know sometimes maybe that the website can confuse a little bit. It's Mold-Zero-USA.com. Mold-Zero-USA.com. Go to the website. I've told you they service all of Greater Baton Rouge and Greater New Orleans. So that's, of course, the North Shore all the way over to Slidell and all of Greater Baton Rouge. So if you're in the 225 or the 504, just go to the website. You'll see the phone numbers at the top of the screen. Pick the one that's nearest you, and you'll get the office in Baton Rouge or in New Orleans. They'll always give you a free estimate. Remember, they'll spray this fog, this patented non-toxic dry fog. You don't have to pull furniture out of your house. You don't have to, pull plants out of the house. Doesn't matter. Just leave everything as is. The fog will get into every nook and cranny. It'll kill everything, mold, odors, all the other pathogens. As soon as the fog dissipates, you're right back in your home free and clear. Maybe a couple of hours. It's Mold Zero USA. Call for that free estimate, mold-zero-usa.com. It's mold-zero-usa.com. Hey, I love this story. I don't know if you saw this, but Steve Levy, who's been at ESPN for 3 decades, was Monday Night Football's play-by-play announcer for a couple of seasons and said it was his dream job. Well, when ESPN hired Joe Buck, he obviously lost his dream job. And he did an interview on, do we have this audio, by the way? We do. Okay, cool. Here, this was on, what was this? It was on Le Batard. Okay, it was on Le Batard. Here was Steve Levy talking about losing his job to Joe Buck and Troy Aikman.
If I would have been replaced by someone like myself, at my level, I would have been crushed. I would have been angry.
If it was, not even me.
Yeah, if it was you, he would have been beyond crushed.
But someone at your level, yes.
But Joe Buck is Joe Buck. And,
right.
And I get that.
Not a bad guy to be replaced by. Yes.
You know what? My strength, honestly, and what's really helped me in the business, I know where I rank, man.
Right.
I really do. I was never going to be that superstar. When I was doing SportsCenter, Stuart Scott was a superstar.
Right.
Van Pelt has his own thing. I'm a guy. I'm good. I try hard. I work hard.
I love that, yes.
But I know where I stand and I rank. And this is Joe Buck. And if it wasn't Joe, it was going to be Al Michaels. Somebody told me I was 3rd on the whiteboard. I mean, that's a good spot to be in.
It's a great spot to be in, yes.
Joe Buck and Al Michaels. I mean, come on.
Plus, you got to do it for a couple of years.
Absolutely. Yes. We're the second team. There'll be a bunch of doubleheaders next year. We'll get 6 Monday night games.
Thank you. It's amazing perspective by Steve Levy, and I love it because self-awareness is key in life. Think about that. That dude spent 30 years at ESPN. He's made a ton of money. He got to call Monday Night Football. He's got to do SportsCenter. So he's not Stuart Scott or Scott Van Pelt or Al Michaels or Joe Buck. But he's put together a really, really, really good existence. A great professional life. So good on Steve Levy. Always one of my favorites to talk to. We appreciate Steve when he can join us. And I thought that was awesome perspective I wanted to share. All right, it's after further review. Let's knock out our final break of hour number 2. We'll do Tigers and the Pros next.
AFR.
Brought to you by Pluckers, Nicholson, Bluebonnet, dine-in, carry-out, or delivery. 28 flavors of award-winning jumbo chicken wings, ice-cold draft beer, full-service bar, and sports on TV. Y'all, Baseball at the Box returns tomorrow. Remember, the best place before or after any Tiger game is Pluckers. And if you need a place to watch the game, every single game all season long will be on in spectacular high definition at both Pluckers locations. Nicholson, just south of campus. Bluebonnet, right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. 3 o'clock first pitch tomorrow. Maybe go have lunch at Pluckers, then get over to the box. Or if you're going to the box, watch the game, enjoy it, then go while the traffic clears, have dinner at Pluckers just south of Alec Box Stadium. Again, Nicholson just south of campus, Bluebonnet right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. Tonight and every Thursday, all you can eat boneless buffalo bites. So pay one low price, eat as many boneless buffalo bites as you can tonight and every Thursday at Pluckers. Nicholson or Bluebonnet. Pluckers, if you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off MSRP on select new 2022 Ford F-150 trucks. $10,000 off plus 0% financing. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Lewis for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Saturday, February 25th, 7 p.m. The Bulls, Bands, and Barrels Tour at the Lamar Dixon Expo Center. Presented by Jerry Lane Chevrolet. Edge of your seat excitement with bull riding, barrel racing, ultimate bullfighting. With a live performance by Bailey Zimmerman. With Timothy Wayne. Plus two-time PBR world champion Chris Shivers. And Brinson James, the entertainer. Tickets and information at bullsbandsandbarrels.com. Saturday, February 25th. Lamar Dixon Expo Center at 7 p.m. Presented by Jerry Lane Chevrolet. The #1 Chevrolet dealer in Louisiana.
Women who suffer from cardiac arrest outside of a hospital are less likely than men to receive life-saving CPR from bystanders. This is especially true for Black and Latino women. Be the one in your family to help change this statistic by taking the American Heart Association's challenge to learn CPR. Be the beat for someone you love. You can make a difference when it matters most. Go to heart.org today to take the CPR challenge and save lives.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Otter.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure glad you're here.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, wrapping up hour number 2. We're glad you're with us here. Thursday show is brought to you by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Muso, Tigers in the Pros.
Tigers in the Pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge gets engaged.
Matt, earlier you mentioned the challenge rule in the XFL is something to keep an eye on. You also have plenty of LSU Tigers to keep an eye on as well, 10 of them to be exact. Darren Evans will be part of the Arlington Renegades. You'll have John Trey Kirkland, Harry Vincent, and Glenn Logan as part of the Houston Roughnecks. Cam Lewis on the DC Defenders, along with Jazz Ferguson, who, kind of former Tiger in the pro. He ended up at Northwestern State. But
No, we claim him.
Okay, we'll claim him.
Just like Ohio State claims Burrow.
That's fair. Who claims Jalen Hurts? I forgot.
Alabama claims Hurts.
Okay. And Oklahoma. The San Antonio Brahmas, Brad Wing and Jamal Pettigrew, along with Chidi Okeke. Boy, there's a name. There's a name,
no,
brother.
I don't want to claim him. I don't think we can claim him. What was,
he ended up at Tennessee State.
I don't want to speak out of turn, but I think there was some off the field stuff. Well, there was an offensive lineman with whom there was some off the field stuff, and I don't remember him, so I don't want to speak out of turn. So go ahead.
And lastly, Vidal Alexander will be.
He was the Tiger for sure.
Yes, with the St. Louis Battlehawks. NBA action last night. The Houston Rockets. Darius Days, 17 minutes off the bench, 7 points, 3 boards in the game. Shot 2 of 7 from the floor. His NBA teammate and former LSU teammate Tari Eason contributed 10 points in a losing effort for the Rockets to go along with 3 boards and 2 assists and a steal. The Nets, they've got this tanking thing all wrong. They won last night. Cam Thomas had 19 points, 21 minutes, shot 6 of 11. Maybe you should play him a little bit more if you're going to go ahead and win basketball games. Anyway, Ben Simmons, 2 points on the night, 4 boards and 4 assists. On the links, Sam Burns on the course currently. He's through 8 holes at Riviera for the Genesis. He is 2 over par. Not going great for Sam. Did go pretty well for Ben Taylor. He's tied for 20th, 2 under in his round. He is done in just 5 shots off the lead of American Max Homa. That's Tigers in the Pros.
Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com. Gents, if you screwed up and you didn't get her what you wanted for Valentine's Day, let Lee Michaels help you make good. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, 2 locations in Baton Rouge, corporate in Bocage, in the Mall of Louisiana. 9 locations in all, so you can get to the website to find that location nearest you. But remember, you will always get the Lee Michaels experience, no matter your budget or what you're shopping for. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com. That's lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. All right, LSU pitching coach Wes Johnson in 20 minutes. LSU football's floor and ceiling. That's next.
AFR.
Love telling you about Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Get to the website at Michelli.com. That's Michelli.com. The most plain way I can say it, if you weigh or measure something, get to Michelli.com. So many people know Michelli for their scales. Told you we're flying next week to Napa. When we go check our bags, you always put your luggage on that scale that they weigh to make sure you didn't go over the weight limit. They charge you extra. Look at the calibration on the scale, the little certificate, the little sticker. You'll see a Michelli sticker right there. Basically, if it's a scale in this country, probably sold by Michelli. They're our nation's largest distributor of scales, but they do so much more. So many people go to the website and say, oh, I didn't realize you did that. Dozens of different industries, calibration services. It's all there for you at Michelli Weighing and Measurement. They can calibrate on site. They can come pick up your devices and bring it to their labs, or you can ship your devices to them. Accuracy matters most. If you need ISO 17025 accreditation, Michelli can help. It's Michelli.com. Again, online at Michelli.com.
I'm Chris Nakamoto, and here's what I'm working on for my stories on WBRZ Channel 2 tonight. The Louisiana Department of Health cited a nursing home in Port Allen with deficiencies and noncompliance after an unsupervised resident managed to walk outside and die. The coroner's office determined hypothermia was a factor that led to his death. Tonight, employees say what happened here was inexcusable, as the family remains skeptical anything will change. I'm Chris Nakamoto from WBRZ. Watch more tonight on WBRZ Channel 2.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
I've been doing business with Levy for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Saturday, February 25th, 7 p.m. The Bulls Bands and Barrels Tour at the Lamar Dixon Expo Center. Presented by Jerry Lane Chevrolet. Edge of your seat excitement with bull riding, barrel racing, ultimate bullfighting with a live performance by Bailey Zimmerman. With Timothy Wayne, plus two-time PBR world champion Chris Shivers and Brinson James, the entertainer. Tickets and information at bullsbandsandbarrels.com. Saturday, February 25th, Lamar Dixon Expo Center at 7 p.m. Presented by Jerry Lane Chevrolet, the #1 Chevrolet dealer in Louisiana.
Women who suffer from cardiac arrest outside of a hospital are less likely than men to receive life-saving CPR from bystanders. This is especially true for Black and Latino women. Be the one in your family to help change this statistic by taking the American Heart Association's challenge to learn CPR. Be the beat for someone you love. You can make a difference when it matters most. Go to heart.org today to take the CPR challenge and save lives.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. Tiger Woods is playing his first PGA Tour event since the Open Championship last July. Woods is even par after 10 holes in the first round of an event he hosts, the Genesis Invitational. It's live right now on ESPN+. The Celtics make it official. Joe Mazzulla, now the team's head coach. He'll get a contract extension. Mazzulla has been the interim coach since Ime Udoka was suspended in September. The Celtics have the best record in the NBA at 42-17. The All-Star break starts tomorrow. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver comments on dealing with officials who make mistakes during games.
They are absolutely held accountable. We don't publicize discipline for officials. We don't think that would be appropriate, but their assignments are affected by the quality of their calls. Whether or not they progress into the playoffs and then round by round is impacted by the accuracy of their calls and their demeanor on the floor.
Adam Silver, the NHL Players Association officially hires U.S. Labor Secretary Marty Walsh as its new executive director.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Looking for a career you'll love with flexibility, great pay, and benefits, and one of the country's top workplaces? Come join their growing team. Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Muso. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. Wes Johnson will be with us here in 15 minutes. LSU pitching coach. We're looking forward to that. We are getting closer and closer to LSU spring football. If you missed it earlier this week, LSU announced their spring football dates. So LSU will hit the practice field. We're less than a month away. March the 9th. So the spring game will be coming up in late April, so it's going to be about 6 weeks for LSU. Again, March the 9th is a Thursday. Spring game will be Saturday, April the 22nd. So we now have those parameters set for what we can expect, and so a lot of the conversation now begins to ramp up even further about the 2023 LSU Tigers. We know they're in everybody's preseason top 10, and the questions start to become, what are these realistic expectations around this team, and what questions need to be answered for them to reach those? Well, ESPN.com here, as some teams are inching closer and closer to spring football, put out their list of the top 25 teams in college football and what they have to do to make the college football playoff. Our buddy Bill Connolly also did a piece where he lists each team's ceiling and each team's floor. First, the write-up on how LSU can get to the playoff is pretty clear. It says, the path to the playoff is wide open with Alabama in a state of flux and Auburn breaking in a new coaching staff. No Bryce Young at Alabama. You lose both your coordinators. That makes sense. He says, the thing that worries you about LSU isn't the level of talent. Plenty good players. He lists Harold Perkins, Mason Smith, Jaden Daniels, Malik Neighbors. He said, the thing that worries you is consistency. On defense, creating pressure on the quarterback every week. On offense, generating more reliable passing game. Do that. The schedule sets up nicely for a return trip to the SEC championship game. Makes a lot of sense, and I actually completely agree with it. We've talked about the schedule, and the schedule does favor LSU. Remember, when you look at the 3 games you lost, Florida State, yes, you have to go to Orlando, but I think we all agree that had LSU played that game a week later, 2 weeks later, it's probably a very different result. Just look at how badly LSU played in that game. I mean, they were atrocious for 3 quarters and were right there at the end. They were missed PAT away from sending that thing to overtime. So that makes sense. You lost to Tennessee. Well, remember, Tennessee rotates off, Missouri rotates on. Yes, that's a road game, but you're going to be favored on the road at Missouri. You were a home dog to Tennessee. And then you lost to Texas A&M. That was a disappointing loss when it happened, but Texas A&M now comes to Baton Rouge, and I think LSU is going to be a better team than Texas A&M. So a lot of those reasons, yes, you beat Alabama here. You have to go to Alabama, so that one might even flip if you lose that game. But there's a lot of reason to believe that schedule-wise it shapes up in LSU's favor, especially with all of the returning talent and production that they have. So, I like this piece also that Bill Connolly did. I was a guest this morning on Crane and Company with the boys, with Jake and Blaine and David Cohn, and they basically asked me to set the stage, or why LSU would win the West. And I told them what I've said here. I believe that when we go to SEC Football Media Days, that LSU should be the favorite to win the West. I don't know necessarily that they will be. And I know that as far as betting odds, the odds makers are going to install Alabama the favorite because they're trying to generate action on both sides of the line. And so Alabama is going to be the favorite just because of the name on the marquee. And a lot of people are just going to default to Alabama. I'm not saying that's wrong. They've earned that right. And until proven otherwise, they should be there. But with what everything LSU returns and the way the schedule sort of flips with Auburn, Florida, Texas A&M all coming to LSU this year, with Tennessee rotating off, everything we just described, there's reason to think that LSU will improve even more. And so Bill Connolly, who does the SP Plus rankings, has listed for the top 25, the preseason top 25, every team's ceiling and floor. So he's got LSU ranked 7th in the SP Plus rankings, but in the way too early top 25, LSU is 8th. So that's where he has them. He lists LSU's ceiling as 11-1. Ceiling, 11-1. Floor at 7-5. The biggest variable, he says, are big plays. In Coach Brian Kelly's first season, Tigers won 10 games, stole the SEC West title with an upset of Bama. With ever-scrambling quarterback Jaden Daniels, most of the offense returning, Matt House's defense bringing in 10 transfers to pair with Greg Brooks and other veterans, it's easy to think big. But winning the easy points battle is key to making a title push. LSU ranked 101st in marginal explosiveness on offense and 50th on defense. Said efficient. They were efficient. They just didn't hit big plays. So marginal explosiveness, by the way, is the metric he uses, which looks at the magnitude of a team's successful plays and adjusts for down distance and field position. So basically big plays. There are 2 things that I would look at for LSU if they can get to the playoff. Number 1, obviously, is can you get to Atlanta? And number 2 is when you're there, can you beat Georgia? Those are the 2. I mean, those are 2 things you have to decide. Number 1, We just kind of went through LSU getting to Atlanta. Again, I'm not saying that's a cakewalk. I'm not saying pencil them in. I mean, look at the years LSU's gone to the SEC Championship. 2001, 2003, 2005, 2007, 2011. You had a big gap. You went in 2019. You went back in 2022. LSU's never gone to Atlanta in consecutive years. Like, let that sink in for a second. LSU's never gone to Atlanta in consecutive years. So history isn't necessarily on your side. By and large, it takes a Herculean effort to get there because in the last decade and a half, you've had to clear the Alabama hurdle, which it's not easy to do consistently. But can you get to Atlanta? For all the reasons I just said, sure, it's possible. LSU returns a ton of talent. And then when you look at Alabama themselves, losing Bryce Young, losing both coordinators, losing a couple of games a year ago, and then having that turnover. Look, they're 50-50 games a year ago. They had a 50-50 game against Tennessee, 50-50 game against LSU. They lost. They had a 50-50 game against Texas A&M. They had a 50-50 game against, well, I guess Arkansas was for a minute anyway. And they won some of those 50-50 games. So Texas was certainly a 50-50 game in Austin, and they won it. So, yes, you could very easily look at Alabama and say, man, they're a field goal away, at the horn, and overtime, again, 2-point conversion away from being undefeated. Similarly, you could also say, yeah, but they're Texas A&M, a little flare pass in the flat, and Texas sacking Bryce Young away from losing 4 games. So both realities are true. So there is at least a valid question about Bama, considering how close they were to being 8-4 and losing Bryce Young and both coordinators. How do you replace all that? That's a valid question. So can I get LSU to Atlanta, like with a plausible explanation? Absolutely. Can I get them to beat Georgia? That might be tougher. Now, the one, because I think Georgia's still going to have, look, Georgia set a modern record for the number of players drafted a year ago and still won the national title. They're better than everybody. They have better talent. They're just better. But they are going to be replacing their starting quarterback and their OC, which, remember, that was the last thing they had to clear. Todd Monken got Georgia's offense to a point where they were able to win a national title. Now Todd Monken's gone, and so is Stetson Bennett. So who's next at quarterback, and can Mike Bobo continue to maintain that level of performance offensively? If Georgia answers that question, they're going to be a boring team. They're going to be undefeated. They're going to go back to the playoff, and we'll see if they can make it 3 in a row. But if they falter, then sure, LSU with a fifth-year senior quarterback and all that experience and having gone to that game a year ago can absolutely get back to it and win it. But that's less LSU, and that's more what is Georgia going to be and how did they replace what they lost, both on the field and in the booth. Okay, we'll talk plenty, obviously, of LSU football once we get closer to spring, and we are less than a month away from the start of spring football. We're less than a day away from the start of LSU baseball, 22 hours, as a matter of fact, 21 hours and 48 minutes from first pitch. 3 o'clock, LSU, Western Michigan. LSU pitching coach Wes Johnson joins us next. Stay here. It's AFR.
AFR.
So, as we've been telling you for weeks now, take me out to Tallulah, game watch party to celebrate LSU's season opener. We have to postpone it. Obviously, the game isn't going to happen at 6:30 tomorrow, and so it's not going to be a game watch party. There's no sense of doing a game watch with no game. So, we're rescheduling Take Me Out to Tallulah for March the 10th. So, that's it's a home game for LSU. It's a Friday against Samford. So, mark your calendar. Again, help us spread the word, please. Take me out to Tallulah. I'm excited about getting so many people in there to experience Tallulah, the restaurant inside of the Renaissance Hotel, restaurant, bar, indoor, outdoor vibe there on the terrace with all the fire pits and torches and the water features. It's awesome. The food's fantastic, and I was really excited to get everybody to go out there tomorrow. But we're going to postpone it and reschedule for March the 10th. So mark your calendar, March the 10th. Take me out to Tallulah. Bourbon, beer, burgers, baseball. You can always get out to Tallulah in the meantime. If you got an event, have it at the Renaissance Hotel. Renaissance in Baton Rouge.
You'll love the deals this month at Corval Toyota in Opelousas. Get 3.99% financing on new 23 Highlanders, and as always, you'll never pay over MSRP. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure glad you're here.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
I've been doing business with Levy for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Women who suffer from cardiac arrest outside of a hospital
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, rolling through the 5 o'clock hour, LSU baseball. First pitch tomorrow, 3 o'clock against Western Michigan. LSU pitching coach Wes Johnson, good enough to join us for a couple of minutes here on the eve of the season opener. Coach, it's our pleasure. Thanks for squeezing it in. How are you?
Doing great, Matt. Thanks for having me, man.
Look, it's our pleasure. I would imagine butterflies and all those things are pretty normal, but you have an expectation opening weekend. What are you hoping to see from your guys aside from obviously winning?
Yeah, no, I want them to come out. We had a really good spring, start there, and I want to see our guys come out, pound the strike zone, attack. Western Michigan's an older team. So they're going to give us, they're going to put up a good at bat. I just want to make sure that we can come out, execute our pitches, control the running game, all those little things.
I think everyone, of course, knew Paul Skeens was going to be the Friday guy. The next two in the rotation are things that I think people are excited to see. One is Riley Cooper. They're taking the ball on Saturday. What is we all saw him last year take the ball in so many different situations out of the bullpen. What has changed for him here in these preseason spring workouts that's allowed him to jump up into that rotation?
Well, I think it goes back to the fall. I mean, we changed some things with Riley when I got here. You were seeing it at times in the fall You were seeing him be able to execute a few pitches that we were, asking him to do. Asking him to drop down a little bit when he was facing some left-handers, and then just do some different things with his fastball to righties, and then the way he was using his breaking ball. It really started to click late in the fall, and then he was able to carry it over in the spring, and the guy was really, really good for us, and, in his 4 outings, and we're excited for him, excited to see how he does. We know what we get when we get Riley out there. I mean, the moment's never too big for him. He was in 29 games last year. He's pitched in Omaha when he was with Jay at Arizona. And so Riley's going to be fine. I'm really excited, though, to see if he can continue to do the things we've been working on.
So it's interesting because a year ago, Riley, for most of the season, he was quite literally the only left-hander out of the pen. Jacob Hasty came on late and gave LSU some innings. But with Cooper moving now into the rotation, what left-handed options do you feel like you have that you can trust on, or you're interested in seeing here coming out of the pen?
Yeah, well, we feel real confident in Nate Ackenhouse. Jay and I both, really like Nate, obviously. He can do a lot of things. We feel good with him, if we need to throw him against some right-handers. Really excited to see, and hopefully we'll get some opportunities to get Griffin Herring in, another freshman lefty. Really like what he's been able to do this fall, or late in the fall and then early in the spring. So those will be two guys that you'll see, if we really, with Coop starting, that if we get into some left, where we need to get a left-hander out, you'll see one of those two guys.
Wes Johnson's with us, LSU pitching coach here. I noticed on the LSU Twitter feed, Cal Ripken was with the team today. Can you fill us in on how this all came together?
Well, I don't want to butcher this. I don't quite know exactly I can kind of, give you I believe he's got a family member that may be looking to attend LSU, either in grad school or some form of LSU, and was in town and with them looking at school and got a hold of Jay. And next thing you know, it was awesome, man. The guys were fired up. Heck, he was one of my favorite players growing up. So, and I've never met him before today. So, really, really good. He spent he was awesome. Talked for about 35 minutes with the team. It was really good. The guys really, really enjoyed it.
That's awesome, man. The Iron Man visiting with LSU baseball earlier today. We've got a couple more minutes here with Wes Johnson. Hey, look, we also learned, of course, Chase Shores is going to take the ball. Every report we've got, about a 6'8" dude that throws 100. He's special, and this was only a matter of time before he was going to get in the rotation. Why now? Why opening weekend are you all confident giving him the ball?
Yeah, I really like where Chase has been mentally. You look at, nothing's too big for him. He stays, within himself. He throws strikes, and just really, really competes out there. And heck, we like what he's been doing. He's had a phenomenal spring, and we're looking at it. We don't look at him as a freshman, or I've never really looked at guys that way. It's like, are they ready? As we all know, we've got one of the best offenses in the country, and he's faced our guys day in, day out, and has never shown any sign of being nervous or intimidated, so to speak. And he's been out there. He's thrown a lot of strikes. Seen, in my opinion, some of the best hitters in the country, and has done fine. So it's like, yeah, he's one of our better guys. We need to be pitching him.
We haven't brought up Thatcher Hurd yet, and Jay spoke earlier today and said, look, he's going to take the ball in big games, and to be there for the team to be their best this year, he's got to essentially work his way into that rotation. I guess, Coach, maybe a thought on Hurd, but also sort of the challenge for you managing a staff that has, and forgive me if I'm overstepping, but almost an embarrassment of riches, man. When you got a guy like Thatcher Hurd, who's maybe your midweek guy right now. How do you manage getting all these guys work and managing all these different arms?
Well, I think the thing that you do, no matter where you're at, whether you're here or in the big leagues, you're constantly looking to make sure guys are in the right spot, and putting them in the best position to succeed. And with that being said, don't get me wrong, Thatcher Hurd is ready to succeed. We I wanted to get a little extra work in with Thatcher. We were able to, we were fortunate enough because, Riley Cooper has been so good and Chase Shores is so good that we were able to do that this week. And it's good. Thatcher's doing great. I expect him to have a great year. I expect him to be throwing a lot of meaningful innings for us. So, yeah, he's going to be fine. I'm excited to see him. You may see him this weekend. Okay. So that's not out of the question either. So, yeah, he's doing really well. There's going to be plenty of innings, and this covering baseball and being in this as long as you have. I mean, I don't look at, we got to get all these guys work. No, they're going to get their time. And, as we talk to them all the time, and Jay does a phenomenal job with this, hey, when it's your turn, you need to get in there and you need to execute pitches. That's how you get more. And so, that'll start to work itself out. But, yeah, we do have some options we're pretty excited about. And quite frankly, I'm that's probably the most exciting thing for me over these next 2 weeks is to see how all these guys really perform when there's another uniform, in the other dugout and there's fans in the stands.
Is there a specific, though? I mean, it was actually where I was going to go next. Of course, you want to see how all these guys perform whenever you're facing someone else. But is there a guy maybe, or a couple of guys, or a situation that you're really keen on watching this weekend? See, man, I got to watch it all, but I'm really interested in how that guy or that situation is going to play out this weekend.
Yeah, there's been a couple guys that didn't get as much time in the fall as I wanted to get with them, and for different reasons. But excited. Garrett Edwards, I really want to see. He had a really good second half of this spring. I'm excited to see him. Bryce Collins is doing some things different. Another guy. Of course, Ty Floyd. Ty's going to be a rock for us wherever we need it. And Ty's doing some things really well. And then, another guy, Sam Dudden. We're doing some different things with Samuel. And he's had a good spring. Really excited to get in there. I mean, I could keep going down the list, right? I mean, but those are some guys, off the top of my head.
It's funny. You mentioned Floyd and Dutton. It's like Dutton was a guy who was taking the ball starting in SEC weekends last year. And of all the names we mentioned, it's like, we got to get to that guy. It's going to be a lot of fun. There's a reason there's so much anticipation. Last thing before you go, you alluded to it as well, this pitching staff facing one of the best offenses in college baseball. From where you sit, though, how do you assess LSU's offense?
Oh, I think Jay's going to have a lot of fun, man. And it's like I told him this morning. I said, man, you got some tough lineup decisions against some different guys. But I think what on a serious note, I mean, he's going to really be able to match up. If we see that tough righty, we've got some really good left-handed options. If we see that tough lefty, we've got a lot of really good right-handed options. And then when they bring somebody out of the pen that we don't like the matchup with, he's got options both offensively and defensively to make some changes to try to offset that. So really like that. Heck, I tell people all the time the best pitching coach is a great offense. So.
We're going to get to see both tomorrow out at the box at 3:00. You okay with I guess you got to be okay with the early start, but I would imagine that helps Paul as well, right? I mean, probably not quite as windy, sunny day, maybe better conditions to throw in.
Yeah, you don't get too fired up. They check wind chills and all that. And I think they were saying like around 7 o'clock wind chill was going to be like 35.
Got it.
That's pitching coach. You're not too fired up about that. But so when the option came to move it up, or they asked me about it, I said, well, I think we would say yes. Our guys would, but not that the mid 40s, I think is what they said the wind chill would be. Still, though, that's 10, 12 degrees, man. That's a lot.
Hey, man, coming from Minnesota, I bet that feels like summer.
Yeah. Hey, there would be people shirtless in the stands tomorrow if you were there. So,
oh man. Well, we're looking forward to seeing the team get out there for the first time, Coach. It's a pleasure. Go get them tomorrow. We appreciate a couple of minutes.
All right, thanks for having me, and go Tigers.
It's our pleasure. Wes Johnson, LSU's pitching coach. What an asset, man. I mean, that guy. Of course, we had great success at Arkansas, and went from Arkansas to be the pitching coach of the Minnesota Twins. I mean, you bypass the whole minor league system and you go right to the big club as a pitching coach, it tells you about that guy. But then similarly, what does it say about LSU that Wes Johnson leaves a team in the middle of a season when they were the division leader when he left them a year ago to join LSU in the fall? So Wes Johnson, we're looking forward. We're gonna have an opportunity. Sounds like to have Coach Johnson on with us, Coach Wes Johnson on with us weekly here during the baseball season. So really looking forward to picking his brain as we start to peel back the layers of the onion with this pitching staff. Which I mean, it is. I mean, we mentioned Cooper, lefties out of the pen. He mentioned Ackenhausen, Herring. We talked about Chase Shores and Thatcher Hurd. And then it got to Edwards, Collins, Floyd, Dutton. I mean, it's like 9 pitchers before we got to talk about Dutton, who was a guy in the rotation late last season. It just goes to show you the amount of arms that they have. So we'll start to see it all start to manifest this weekend. Looking forward to it. All right, Tap to Further Review brought to you by Traction Sports. TractionSports.com. Hey, man, thanks again if you missed it. We had Bo Lowery with us in hour number 2. Bo, of course, is LSU's Director of Sports Medicine, but Bo is also the director, is a co-owner and the director of Traction Physical Therapy. So when you think about the guy that was basically the guy responsible for keeping Drew Brees on the field as long as he did when he was with the Saints, a guy who right now is the LSU Director of Sports Medicine, like the same tactics, staff, technology, techniques, all of that, they'll use on you. To use on your child is getting back into the game. And whatever that is for an active lifestyle at Traction Physical Therapy. Of course, at Traction, they got performance training. They got skill training. So you want to get bigger, stronger, faster. You want to work specifically in baseball or whatever the sport is for your child. They got those sessions, those membership options. They've also got Traction Physical Therapy as well. So when it's getting back in the game, it's Traction Physical Therapy. Remember, when you're injured, you pick where you go for your physical therapy. Your doctor doesn't pick. You get to pick where you go for PT. When I had my knee surgery, I went and rehabbed my knee after my meniscus surgery at Traction Physical Therapy. They're just the best. It's Traction Physical Therapy. Go to TractionSports.com to learn more. It's TractionSports.com. All right, y'all, it's After Further Review. I'm glad to have you hanging out with us here. We'll knock out a quick break. The SEC Media Day schedule is out. We're heading to Nashville. We knew that, but what did we learn from that? We'll get to some of the SEC Football Media Day schedule, I should mention. We'll get some of that coming up here right after the break. Otter locks in about 15 minutes from right now. The Otter had himself a good night last night. Another winning night. He had a winning night every night this week, hasn't he? That's back to back to back. Like Tommy Mansky and his AAU championships. Back to back to back winning nights for the Otter. Can he make it 4 in a row? We'll get to Otter locks in about 15 minutes. Don't you move. It's AFR.
AFR.
I've been doing business with Lewry for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Saturday, February 25th, 7 p.m. The Bulls Bands and Barrels Tour at the Lamar Dixon Expo Center. Presented by Jerry Lane Chevrolet. Edge of your seat excitement with bull riding, barrel racing, ultimate bullfighting. With a live performance by Bailey Zimmerman. With Timothy Wayne. Plus 2-time PBR World Champion Chris Shivers. And Brinson James, the entertainer. Tickets and information at bullsbandsandbarrels.com. Saturday, February 25th. Lamar Dixon Expo Center at 7 p.m. Presented by Jerry Lane Chevrolet. The #1 Chevrolet dealer in Louisiana.
Women who suffer from cardiac arrest outside of a hospital are less likely than men to receive life-saving CPR from bystanders. This is especially true for Black and Latino women. Be the one in your family to help change this statistic by taking the American Heart Association's challenge to learn CPR. Be the beat for someone you love. You can make a difference when it matters most. Go to heart.org today to take the CPR challenge and save lives.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure glad you're here.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together,
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, glad to have you rolling with us here. We got today the SEC Football Media Days announcement. So the dates are set. It'll be July 17th through the 20th at the Grand Hyatt in Nashville. We knew this, that they were going to move it around. And look, I mean, from the perspective of someone who attends it, obviously moving it out of the Hyatt Regency Winfrey Hotel attached to a mall in Hoover, Alabama, is certainly more attractive. Last year was cool at the College Football Hall of Fame. I think the intention that they have in moving media days around is to bring it to other markets to continue growing the brand and expanding the brand of the conference. So they'll go to Nashville. There was talk about going to Dallas. I'm certain at some point it'll come to New Orleans. But SEC Football Media Days, Nashville, this July, of course, will be there for the duration of it. Brian Kelly, who led off SEC Media Days last year, is on day one again. So the one thing that the league did announce, do you have the schedule there, Paul? I'll see if I can pull it up if you don't. But if they got it up. But the one thing that they pointed out was sorry, I was trying to pull it up so we'd have it here, but yeah, I don't think they've posted it yet, a graphic yet on nope, here it is. I do have it. My apologies. Got it. All right. Here you go. So the thing that the league did point out is that this isn't necessarily the order they'll go in on their day. They just listed them alphabetically by day. So, for example, on Monday, they list LSU, Missouri, Texas A&M. So those are the three that'll go Monday of media day. So LSU is going to be the first day again. But last year, like Brian Kelly kicked off the whole event. LSU was first at media days. They're listed first here because it's alphabetical. So LSU, Missouri, Texas A&M on Monday. I like it. I like Brian Kelly getting to go first. It's usually when everybody's energy is the highest and people are most locked in. So Missouri, and usually what you see the league do is they're very smart about the way they pair their teams to make sure that people are interested in every day. For example, Missouri's not going to move the needle, but LSU and Texas A&M most certainly will. LSU has star power, and Jimbo's going to go there after a 5-7 season where he's going to have tremendous pressure, and that is going to be a fire starter. Remember, last year at Media Days, all of the talk was the Jimbo-Nick feud, if you remember. Tuesday, you've got Auburn, Georgia, Mississippi State, and Vanderbilt. Of course, it's in Nashville, so Vanderbilt doesn't have far to go, but you put them on the same day as the defending national champion, as Hugh Freeze making his return to the SEC into Media Days, and Zach Arnett, a new head. So two of the new head coaches in the league with Freeze and Arnett on Tuesday. Of course, the passing of Mike Leach will be a big topic there with Zach Arnett making his first appearance. Wednesday at SEC Media Days, when Nick comes to town, no matter where they are, the circus comes to town. So you got Alabama, Arkansas, Florida, and Kentucky. So you have Kentucky sort of attached there. Sam Pittman I don't know that Sam Pittman's going to be on the hot seat, but, new coordinators, 2 new coordinators at Arkansas. That'll be an interesting storyline. And then Billy Napier, is he on the hot seat? I mean, you could look at all of the coaches there on Wednesday, save Nick Saban. I mean, Pittman, Napier, and Stoops, and go, man, all those teams need a bounce-back year. And then on Thursday, that's where they put Tennessee, and there's going to be a boatload of Tennessee media at this event. So they often do that on the last day. They'll put one big school on the marquee the last day to make sure people stay. And in this instance, being in Nashville, they have Tennessee and Josh Heupel going the last day, and they may be the last school to go, but along with Ole Miss and South Carolina. So, Lane Kiffin always draws a crowd, and then Shane Beamer and the Gamecocks were one of the really pleasant surprises, not only in the SEC, but all of college football a year ago. So you sort of saddle Shane Beamer in South Carolina with Lane Kiffin and then with Tennessee being in Nashville. It makes a lot of sense why they set it up the way that they did. So SEC football media days, the appearance schedule is set. We know what day that each school will take their turn. Later, I think in May. Yeah, in May, they're going to, in July. They'll wait until July. They'll give the full event schedule so we'll know when each school is going and what student athletes will be accompanying as well. But LSU will be going on Monday at SEC Media Days coming up this July. All right, it's after further review. You want to bet on those college football futures, you can do it at DraftKings. Official sports betting partner of the NBA. If you want to bet on college football futures, if you want to bet on NFL futures, you can do that as well. It's at the DraftKings Sportsbook. If you want to bet on Otter locks coming up in less than 10 minutes, do it right now. Download your DraftKings Sportsbook app. If you haven't done it yet, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. New customers, use the promo code Baton Rouge. Bet just $5. Moneyline bet, $5 on an NBA game, and they will give you $150 in free bets if your moneyline bet hits. And look, NBA All-Star Weekend is coming up this weekend, so take advantage of this special right now. You do have some NBA games tonight. You got Milwaukee, Chicago, you got Washington, Minnesota, and you got the Clippers against Phoenix. So 3 more games tonight, opportunities to take advantage of this special from DraftKings. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, use the promo code Baton Rouge, make a $5 moneyline play on an NBA game. If you hit, they'll give you $150 in free bets. It's only at the DraftKings Sportsbook. 21 and older, physically present in Louisiana. Select parishes only. Bonus issued as free bets. Opt-in required. 1 free bet issued based on amount of initial losing NBA bet. Eligibility, wagering, and deposit restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/basketball terms. Licensee partner Golden Nugget Lake Charles. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-426-2537. It's after further review. We appreciate you for being here with us. Remember, if you missed anything, you can catch AFR on demand. Favorite podcast app, just search After Further Review. You'll see it. Or you can get the AFR YouTube channels. Just go to YouTube, search After Further Review. You'll see the LSU and Saints channels there. We did go through some of the betting odds for Derek Carr. Saints are the betting favorite at DraftKings to land Derek Carr at plus 300. Interestingly enough, though, the Jets are second, followed by the Bucks and the Panthers. So 3 of the top 4 betting odds teams to land Derek Carr, all in the NFC South. So you're either going to have him or you're going to be playing against him, very likely, next year. And if you missed it, too, the other bit of news involving the New Orleans Saints was that Saints running back coach for you. I'm trying to get the my apologies, y'all. I was trying to get the report from Tom Pelissero, but Joel Thomas, the Saints running back coach, is interviewing for the OC job in Arizona with the Cardinals. So something worth keeping an eye on as they continue to move through this offseason as the Saints have already turned over 5 members of their coaching staff. It could be 6 based on what happens with Joel Thomas. So he'll interview to be the next OC with the Arizona Cardinals. We'll see if he gets that gig, and we'll keep you posted here. All right, y'all, it's after further review. Let me knock out our final break of the show. We'll come back. We'll do Otter Locks and find out what we're betting on tonight. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
Love telling you about Clegg's Nursery. Was chatting earlier today with Miss Teresa over at Clegg's, and it is a beautiful time right now to get by Clegg's. We're going to have a little cold snap tonight, but y'all, some of these bedding plants and trees, they love the cool weather, but this is the time, y'all. This is the time to just plant something. At Clegg's, they're shopping up and stocking up on new shipments of plants that are arriving daily. It is time to just plant something. It's the perfect time to plant trees and shrubs, fruit trees. By the way, rose bushes. If you've been thinking about planting rose bushes, now is the time. They got a great selection of inventory of rose bushes at all 4 Clegg's Nursery locations. So that's Siega near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. They got a great selection of fruit trees and citrus trees and Johnny Naylor seeds, tomato and vegetable plants and herbs. It's a great time to beautify your exterior spaces thanks to Clegg's Nursery. 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Buy local, shop local. Tell them I sent you in to Clegg's Nursery.
I've been doing business with Levy for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Saturday, February 25th, 7 p.m. The Bulls, Bands, and Barrels Tour at the Lamar Dixon Expo Center. Presented by Jerry Lane Chevrolet. Edge of your seat excitement with bull riding, barrel racing, ultimate bullfighting with a live performance by Bailey Zimmerman. With Timothy Wayne, plus 2-time PBR world champion Chris Shivers, and Brinson James, the entertainer. Tickets and information at bullsbandsandbarrels.com. Saturday, February 25th, Lamar Dixon Expo Center at 7 p.m. Presented by Jerry Lane Chevrolet, the #1 Chevrolet dealer in Louisiana.
I've got that blue sky, I've got that sunshine.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $10,000 off new 2022 Ram 1500s. 2022 Ram 1500 trucks on our lot now with $10,000 off MSRP. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Women who suffer from cardiac arrest outside of a hospital are less likely than men to receive life-saving CPR from bystanders. This is especially true for Black and Latino women. Be the one in your family to help change this statistic by taking the American Heart Association's challenge to learn CPR. Be the beat for someone you love. You can make a difference when it matters most. Go to heart.org today to take the CPR challenge and save lives.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
I had to leave my parents.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Muse! They moved the game?
No!
Oh,
I just got a Nike app notification. 25% off select styles on the Nike app.
You got a problem,
Your
brother.
boy's getting some forces tonight. You better believe it. You know what? I need to win some money now so I can spend it on this Nike
Support
app.
this
So
habit of
let's
yours.
find out what we're betting on tonight. It's time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks,
Come
presented
on.
by Lofton
Come
Staffing
on, Otter.
Services. At Lofton, we put people to work. Call us today at 924-0200 or go to lofton.jobs.
Daddy needs some shoes. Come on. Let's go. All right. Otter, I tell you what. What do I say? So we turn the one and only incomprehensible, often incomprehensible, the Ottfather himself, Jimmy Ott. Otter, been a great week so far. Another winning night last night. But I just got an update, man. The Nike shoe dropped 25% off on the app. You know what I mean? Time to run over, see my guys at Ruckus. I need some shoes, bro. Let's win some more. What we got?
All right, 9-4 for the week. Got a
completely disinterested in my setup.
These two. Well, listen. What I have for you is an Air Force 5-pack. Okay.
I love it. All right, let's go.
Chalk early. Get on them now. Iowa -7 at home against the struggling Buckeyes, where Iowa is always tough. That line is moving, so I got it at -7 right now.
Okay.
Another line that's on the move a little bit, Arizona, -10.5 in a revenge spot against Utah. That was the first game they played when they won the Maui Classic, the Maui Hangover. They lost. The little revenge spot. They're playing good right now. Arizona, -10.5. You might have to lay 11 there. It's mostly 11s.
Arizona is, it's up to 11.5.
Okay. Don't buy the half when it gets to double digits.
Okay.
So, all right, Temple -4 against Wichita State. The Shockers are, as Outcast would say, real poo-poo-poo.
Poo-poo-poo. Roses really smell like poo-poo-poo. All right.
Central Florida +7. You good there on that line at DraftKings and Bet Rivers.
Yep. You said
And,
+7, okay.
Yep, and then the big dog on ESPN2 at 6 o'clock. The Pony Express, SMU +16 on their home court against the nasty Houston Cougars. That's just too many points. Here's your Air Force 5 for you tonight.
So I can get to bumping in my Air Force 5. All right, so Iowa laying the 7. Zona, however you can get it, it's 11.5 at DraftKings. Temple laying the 4, Central Florida +7, SMU plus. What did you say? I'm looking at 15.5 right here, DraftKings. So
16 is what I got. So.
Okay. All right.
I shop around a little bit. All right. The Colucci man is fired.
Oh, it's like manna from shoe gambling heaven. We got Colucci tonight. I forgot. All right, what we got?
Radio Gold. He was sharing moments with us. We had a side bet. Charlie put him at -480 that he used to break dance back in the 80s in the Queens. But no, he was a DJ. He's a DJ. But he did say that his mother got on him because he hurt his ankle trying to do the kid play move at home, but it just wasn't working. So he was a DJ, and I said, man, DJ, so the girls you play their favorite song. What was your go-to song to get the girls' attention, he says. Because, he named a bunch, Eric B., Rakim, and some other ones. And then I said, well, were you kind of ladies' man back then? What did you tell them when you go from one to another? He said, forget about it. When the girl would get upset.
Forget about it. Forget about it.
How about this one? You split it up how you want. Money line, +350. Montreal Canadiens. Puck drop at 6 o'clock in 8 minutes. He does like the money line the puck line better at +1.5, +140.
Oh, Otter. He's going back. He's going back to the Canadians, huh?
He has a man crush, a kid and play, Eric B. and Rakim crush on the Habs. Yes, he loves his Habs. Guy was very confused growing up in Queens. I mean, he likes the Canadians and the Dallas Cowboys. I don't know. Maybe he was homeschooled. I don't know.
I don't know about it, Otter. All right, well, Colucci will be back with Otter at 6:30?
6:30.
All right, so No, I'm sorry. So I was just going to say, make sure you stay tuned in. Jimmy Ott's next. Colucci will be with Otter at 6:30. He'll give you picks on the night games in the NHL. But the Canadians, they dropped the puck at 6:08 Central, so that's in 16 minutes from right now. So if you want to get in on the Habs, do it right now. Otters 5-pack, Iowa laying 7, Zona minus 11.5, Temple laying 4, Central Florida plus 7, and SMU plus 16, or I got it 15.5, whatever you can get it there. And then Colucci's giving you Montreal on the money line. All right, Otter, you at Jolly Pearl?
He likes the puck line better.
Puck line, okay.
We're in our rotating spot now. Every other week is Jolly Pearl. Tonight, starting, though, every other week, Charlie and I are practicing for opening night. You know, the best place to be at a rain delay is at walk-on.
All right.
It's raining for opening day tomorrow. Luso, sorry, not opening night. So we're going to practice. We're going to practice and do what we do and maybe have a few libations and sweat some action on, in a rain delay.
I would expect nothing less.
Edition of Game Time here from Walk-Ons, the original Walk-Ons on Burbank.
All right, y'all goodbye. See the Otter and Hanny. All right, Otter, we appreciate you, man.
Okay, man. Good luck.
All right, thanks, man. Game Time with Jimmy Ott follows us in Baton Rouge. If you're not in Baton Rouge, online at 1045ESPN.com, or you can stream it on Facebook on the Game Time with Jimmy Ott Facebook page. We're brought to you by HUDCO Roofing, HUDCORoofing.com. Tell you every day. Do business with someone you know. That's us. That's HUDCO Roofing and HUDCORoofing.com. We service the entire state of Louisiana, so it doesn't matter if you're in Baton Rouge or Bossier, if you're in New Orleans or Lafayette. The 318, the 225, the 504, the 337. There's a HUDCO office rep ready to service you no matter where you are in the state. Give us a shout. HUDCORoofing.com. Y'all, look, bad weather rolling through today. We know that all the rain. I tell you every day, when it rains, our phones ring at HUDCO because most of us, we wait until it rains. We get water in our house. That's when we know we got roof damage. We'd love to help you out at HUDCO. We're never going to upsell you, sell you something you don't need. If it's a roof replacement, we'll help you do that with your insurance. Maybe you're a commercial building and a coating product is better. Remember, our coating products come with a 20-year warranty, but half the price of a full roof replacement. It'll come with a 20-year warranty. HUDCO Roofing. Do business with someone you know. HUDCO Roofing, HUDCORoofing.com. All right, just about going to do it for us. Muse, again, I'm very, very sorry that, opening day for you has been ruined.
Surprised it took Otter that long to crack on me. I really am.
So are you going to be here tomorrow or not? Are you going to the game? What's the verdict?
I don't. Yeah.
Man. It's gonna be our poll question. Does Muse show up tomorrow? Or does he go to the game? the program director is going to get I'm sick tomorrow at 2:58. All right, Muse. 2:58. Jay, thanks. Y'all have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
All right, y'all, we're getting on down the road. I want to remind you about Relief Windows, reliefwindows.com. Energy-efficient replacement windows. Beautiful entry doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. They do it all over at Relief Windows, and, they do it better than anyone else. I've shared this with you before, but over the years, you're talking to Brandon Holly. He always says, look, a lot of people can sell you windows. A lot of people can sell you doors and siding and everything. Nobody's going to sell you a better product and give you better customer service, though, than Relief Windows. Brandon always says, man, as a business owner, you have to be willing to spend your last dollar to make your customer happy. And I've seen Brandon do that so many times when things aren't even his fault or his installer's fault, whatever the case may be. If a homeowner is not happy, Brandon doesn't sleep. He's just going to go to the end of the earth to make sure that by the time they're done, you're thrilled with the work they do. That's Relief Windows. Who does that? Relief Windows does that. That's why they are what they are. Windows, doors, siding. You check them out at Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. Again, Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, anytime. Hunt Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary. For those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it, They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.